Collective, I am the Nosy Witch and this is my channel, Nosy Witch Tarot. Welcome or welcome back. This reading is titled, Hi Bestie, all about your next glow up. How are you leveling up and under what circumstances? So I love doing these kinds of readings because my only hope with this channel and with these readings in general is that I can empower people to be the best and most confident version of themselves. I love being the person to hype other people up, to get other people feeling empowered and inspired. However, I also always want my readings to come from a place of honesty and integrity, and I'm not going to be the kind of person who sits here and gives the collective a reading and tell you that your life is going to be perfect, there's going to be no more drama and problems from this point forward. I'm not going to tell you that. I like to think that whilst my readings can be empowering, I think they also come from a place of being at least partially rooted in reality. And what I really want to do with these readings is empower you to be able to make the best decision for yourself going forward. And that means holding yourself accountable for your own glow up. And whilst I think, yes, the universe can work with us in our favour, I don't think it can work for us. I think we need to do the work ourselves. And when it comes to glowing up, levelling up in any way, I think a lot of the hard work comes from us and the internal and external work that we do on ourselves, our daily behaviours, things that we implement allow us to bring those beautiful positive changes into fruition. So whilst I want this reading to be very positive and uplifting, it will also be realistic and talk about the many ways that you can empower yourself to create those positive changes and ultimately create that glow up. I like to think of the advice that I give in these readings as firm but fair, similar to the kinds of advice that you would hopefully receive from a wise older sister. And if you don't want to think of me as your wise older sister, then please just think of me as some weird but caring random girl on the internet who is more invested in you and your well-being than what I should be. If you prefer to think of it that way, that's fine. Either way, I'm here to tell you about your next glow up or what to expect, when it will be happening, and the changes that you will be going through, the changes that you will be making in order to make this glow up happen. So you are going to pick from one of these 4 piles. We have 4 stickers to choose from today. Each sticker corresponds to a pile. Over here, we have pile 1 and the purple feather sticker. We've got pile 1 and the purple feather sticker. Here we have pile 2 and the cup of tea sticker. We have pile 2 and the cup of tea sticker. Here we have pile 3 and the bubble bath sticker. That's pile 3 and the bubble bath sticker. And over here we have pile 4 and the pile of books sticker. So we have pile 4 and the pile of books sticker. I would recommend leaning into your intuition in order to pick a pile. If for whatever reason you are feeling disconnected from your intuition today, you are more than welcome to use a random number picker online in order to pick a pile for you. That is okay. You are also very welcome to choose more than one pile if you are called to more than one. Once you have chosen a pile or you have chosen more than one pile, please head to the description or go to the comment section below. The timestamps will be listed there and you can jump to the timestamp that corresponds to your chosen pile. Please bear in mind that these are collective readings and therefore not every single detail is going to resonate with you and your situation, and I wouldn't expect it to. If you are finding that nothing within your reading is resonating for you, you are more than welcome to go back and choose a different pile. You do not have to claim something as your story if it does not fit your situation, your narrative. Please don't take it. You don't have to do that. Simply go back and choose a different pile. If you are finding that for whatever reason none of the piles are resonating with you and your situation at this present moment, that is also okay. There are plenty of other readers and plenty of other readings out there for you. If mine isn't resonating with you right now, you are very welcome to come back at a different stage in your life in the future when this reading might resonate more for you. And in the meantime, please go and check out one of my other readings or one of the other amazing readers out there to help you in your current situation at the moment. Also, just a side note, if my fingers look green on camera, I promise they are not dirty. I dyed my hair green the other day as part of a costume and it has not come out, but also it has not come out of my skin despite me scrubbing. I actually used like a scrub daddy to try and get some of the dye off the skin around my fingers and my fingernails, but it just would not budge. So I promise I'm not going moldy or I'm not trying to do a Shrek cosplay. I am just a little bit green. So if you can see any green, I'm sorry about that. Please just try and ignore it. And also, if you have any advice regarding how to get green dye off skin, then please let me know because I do not know how and it is kind of stuck there. So yeah. With all that said, I just want to thank you so, so much for being here. I really do appreciate every single person who takes the time out of their day to listen to my readings. It really does mean such a lot to me. Thank you so much for every single person who has ever liked any of my videos. Thank you all so much for commenting, and thank you to every single person who has given me a chance and subscribed to my channel. I know I say it in every single reading, but it really does mean the absolute world to me, and I just can't thank you enough. Thank you for your ongoing support. And with that said, if you would like to like my video, if you would like to comment, or if you would like to subscribe, then please do so. All of that would mean such a lot to me. It would be one of the best ways to support my channel and help me grow, and just to let me know that you are enjoying the content and that you like it. And if you are also called to click the notification icon so you can be notified when another one of my videos comes out, feel free to do so. Obviously, no pressure if you don't want to do that. But I did notice with my last reading, and I'm not sure whether it was because of the content and the subject matter, but it wasn't being recommended or promoted by YouTube because when I went on my own personal account, it wasn't showing up anywhere in my feed. I actively had to search for it. And when I spoke to my in real life friends who are really supportive regarding my videos, they said the same thing. It didn't come up in their feeds or anything like that, when normally it appears in their feeds. You know, obviously, I appreciate that that is the nature of YouTube, and sometimes it's just the algorithm not working on the creator's side, and that's just one of those things. But I really had a lot of fun doing that last reading, and I think it's something that a lot of people would enjoy. So if you haven't seen my last reading, the one I posted last week, please feel free to go and watch that if you are called to do so. But again, no worries if not. Feel free to watch whatever you want, whatever you are called to watch, and don't feel pressured to watch something if it's not for you or your current well-being right now. I think that is all I had to say. In regards to any oracle or tarot decks used, I will again pop them in the description below. So if you are interested in purchasing any of the decks that I used today for yourself, then I will try and find a reputable source of acquiring those decks, and I will pop the websites in the description. With all that said, I really hope you enjoy the reading. If you do enjoy it, please let me know. Please give me a like and please comment. It would be much appreciated. Thank you so much, Collective. I'll see you in your reading. Hi, Pal One Collective. If you chose this purple feather sticker and you chose Pal One, this will be your reading. This reading is titled, Hi Bestie, all about your next glow up. How are you leveling up and under what circumstances? If you would like further details regarding what this reading will entail, then please check out the introduction. But we are about to get started with this reading. As usual, we are going to start this reading by looking at a couple of oracle cards, which should hopefully represent the overarching energy. You may use this portion of the reading as an energy check. We are then going to move on to the tarot portion of the reading, and we will have a little bit more of an in-depth look regarding your upcoming glow-ups, or what to expect and what will be changing for you. Just a little reminder to please like my video, please comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. All of that would mean the absolute world to me, and I really appreciate every single person who has liked, who has commented, and who has subscribed. I notice every single one of you, and I appreciate it so, so much. I just can't thank you enough for your support. as I learn and as my channel grows. With all that said, let's just get started with the reading. So without any more hesitation, let's have a look at the cards we pulled for you, Pile 1. Okay, so Pile 1 and the purple feather, we have number 7, Burning Bowl Ritual. And we have number 1, Princess, You Can Be Your Own Knight. Okay, so for some of you, Pile 1, and please bear in mind, this is a collective reading, so this is not going to apply to every single person. Like we always say, not every single detail is going to resonate, but some of you in Pile 1, you have recently gone through a breakup, you have had to dump someone, or you at the very least, this doesn't have to be like an official ex or boyfriend, girlfriend, a partner that you were with, but I think you have had to very recently cut somebody kind of toxic out of your life. So this could be a breakup with a romantic partner of some kind. However, it doesn't have to be. If that doesn't apply, if it's not like an ex situation, this could just be sort of ending a friendship. It could be cutting off a toxic family member. I think in whatever format, this glow up that you are likely to be experiencing in the not so distant future, I think is in relation to you cutting off the dead weight of some kind. Now, this could even be, if this is not another person, this could even be your own dead weight, your own baggage that you are carrying. This could be you overcoming certain self-imposed obstacles, certain beliefs that you held about yourself. With this burning bowl ritual, this really gives me the sense of something being final, something being over and done with, you getting fed up, you getting sick and tired of something and deciding that this situation needs to end, it needs to change, or you need to draw a line under it, you need to let go of all the things that are causing you pain, of all the things that aren't serving you any longer, because the paper that she's holding literally says to let go. I think it does anyway. I don't have the best eyesight, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it says right here. And I'm not saying that this will be you physically doing a burning bowl ritual, although if you practice witchcraft of any kind, if you identify as being a witch, or if you're into witchy things, or you're just into like manifesting and like positive affirmations, writing things down and things like that, if rituals help you to process your emotions, this could very much be you doing an actual physical ritual, and that being part of your healing process, that being part of your glowing up process. It could be something like that, but equally this could be more metaphorical. It could just stand for you metaphorically, you know, removing this dead weight, removing this baggage from your life, either in a very physical, material way, as in even as in something as simple as like cleansing your space and getting rid of items, like actual material physical items that no longer serve you. That could be something to do with this. It could be another person, or equally this could be some kind of toxic view that you hold about yourself that you are getting rid of. You are burning the beliefs that you held about yourself to the ground, or something like that, and it is for your highest good. And with this princess, you can be your own knight card. I'm getting that one of the ways that you are significantly glowing up is that you are learning to be more independent and you are advocating for yourself. I'm getting that you are coming in and actually being your own hero, because when we think of like princess stories and things like that, it's always like, oh, somebody has to come and rescue the princess. But with this saying you can be your own knight, I really get the sense that you are maybe finally sticking up for yourself for the first time in a long time. Maybe you are becoming more assertive, you're learning to advocate for yourself, you're learning to not let other people's opinions get the better of you. I think you're learning to be less passive, if that has ever been a problem for you. If you have ever felt like a bit of a people pleaser, or not necessarily a people pleaser, but if you have ever felt as though you need other people's approval or validation, Or maybe, if you just don't like conflict, if you grew up in a very conflict driven household, or for whatever reason you just weren't taught how to handle conflict confidently and efficiently, in whatever way, it could be that if you are now conflict avoidant, this could be you, learning that you can still be your empathetic, polite, beautiful self, but you do not have to shy away out of fear of hurting the other person or out of fear of retaliation. You can still stick up for yourself, just in a very polite, calm, and collected way. You can do it in your own way. You don't have to be aggressive or abrasive in order to stick up for yourself. I think sometimes, like, if you identify as an empathetic person, I wanted to say the word empath, but I know, that bothers some people, because there's like that stereotype of, the person who always puts empath in their bio is like the worst person you've ever met, is like the least empathetic person you've ever met. So I know that some people don't like to identify with that label because it's actually kind of been co-opted by covert narcissists who use it in an incorrect way. So if you don't identify with that term, like, that's fine, you don't have to. But if you do identify as a very, very empathetic person, I know that it can sometimes be quite hard to stick up for yourself on the basis that you are always worried about other people's feelings. You put other people's feelings above your own sometimes. And maybe, if you are that kind of person, maybe that's always made you sort of shy away from saying things, sticking up for yourself, even if people were mean to you, even if people weren't afraid of saying, negative things to you, of giving you criticism, even if you could take those things, you could accept those things, and you could still like those people. It's like you didn't feel like you would be accepted if you were to, like, criticize other people or even just give your honest opinion. Sometimes it might have made you hold back from giving your honest thoughts, your true opinion. So I really get the sense that this glow up that's happening for you is you truly stepping into your power by being a lot more independent and learning to be assertive, but in a way that suits you, that still allows you to be empathetic, that still allows you to be loving. I'm getting the image, I don't know why, but of Dakota Johnson on Ellen, and I think it's because she talks in that really calm, collected, that measured way while still putting someone in their place. If you know the clip that I mean, where Ellen is asking why she wasn't invited to Dakota's party, and Dakota's just like, well, actually, Ellen, that's not true. This is the kind of energy that I feel you are going to be embodying. It's not that, like, if you are a person who struggles with conflict or you've been a bit passive in the past, it's not as though you're suddenly going to be, like, coming charging in with this really sort of bullshit in your face energy. You're going to be telling people off, like, left, right, and center, but you might be able to put people in their place more in this calm and controlled way. And I think it just gave me that image of Dakota Johnson because, she really can put people in their place in that way. So yeah, I think a lot of this glow up is you embodying this more independent energy, you stepping into an energy that feels more aligned with who you truly are, because maybe that's something that's been hidden, maybe even from yourself, for a long time. And I think there's certain things you haven't been able to let go of previously that you are now feeling more able to let go of. You are now ready to step into a next chapter of your life, become a more confident version of yourself because of the things you have learned and the things you are now willing to let go of, whether these be other people, whether they be things, actual material things, or whether they just be, beliefs that have built up over time, incorrect assumptions and beliefs about yourself that you held within you, that you felt as though like you weren't good enough to do XYZ or something like that. These are all things you are letting go of. You are learning to embrace this way more independent version of you, which is such a beautiful thing. I'm really excited for this glow up that you are going to be having, Pal One. I can't wait to see what's in your tarot, and we are going to get onto that pretty shortly. Oh, another thing that I'm getting as well with this princess card, and you can be your own knight, I'm getting that maybe that part of this glow up is you receiving the princess treatment that you deserve. And I just want to clarify that gender is irrelevant to princess treatment. I think in your case, this is just you quite rightfully being treated with respect. And maybe, if you didn't always feel like somebody who like you haven't always been able to advocate for yourself, or you haven't always felt able to demand the respect and the treatment you deserve, whether that be, you know, from family members, from friends, from partners, from colleagues, from people in your life. I really feel like a part of this glow up will be people, you know, coming to realize that you are very much deserving of respect because you are demanding that for yourself. You are no longer, you know, accepting the bare minimum effort from people. You are no longer going to be disrespected. You are no longer going to let people walk all over you or get away with whatever they want to. That just isn't going to happen on your watch anymore. You are very much in this princess energy. You are advocating for yourself. You are sticking up for yourself, and you are not settling for less than what you deserve. And I think people are really sensing that about you. I think there's going to be a big sort of mental shift, a change in energy, and it might be physically evident from the outside as well, from an external perspective. So that is something to be very excited for. It could be that, you know, if you have dealt with some codependency issues in the past, and I don't necessarily mean that this has to be in a romantic relationship, but if you have dealt with codependency in any relationship, or maybe you have sought too much validation from other people, maybe you have wanted more guidance from other people instead of trusting your own instinct, maybe, like, you know, if you have in the past, you know, made it somebody else's responsibility to make a decision for you. Maybe this is you stepping into more of an energy of really embracing your own decisions and trusting yourself. Maybe this is you learning to trust yourself, to trust you can make a decision independently to anyone else. You don't always need to ask people's opinions to go about and do something in your life. You know, like, obviously it's important when we have people in our lives we care about. Sometimes it is, you know, good to ask for other people's opinions. But I think, you know, if you have ever gone through a stage of feeling as though because of your lack of confidence that you can't make the correct decision, when really deep down you know, oh, well, perhaps this was a decision I should have been making for myself or on my own, or you're just thinking, I don't want to wait for anyone else's approval in order to make these kinds of decisions. This could be you learning to trust yourself more, learning to have faith in your own decision-making skills, something like that. That is what I am getting for you for the oracle portion of your reading, Pile 1. We are just going to have a look at the tarot, so please bear with me and we will get onto the tarot portion of the reading. Thank you so much for listening so far, and I'll see you in the tarot portion, Pile 1. Hi, Pile 1. Welcome to the tarot portion of your reading. Without hesitation, let's get started and have a look at the cards we pulled for you. Okay, Pile 1. We have the Seven of Wands, we have the Seven of Cups, we have the Seven of Swords reversed, we have Death, we have the Six of Wands, we have the Two of Coins, we have the Star, we have the Devil, we have the Four of Swords, and we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay, Pile 1. So the first thing that I'm noticing is, I'm going to be honest, the Death card. And this isn't a bad thing. This is such a beautiful thing, because for you, Pile 1, this glow up, I feel as though it's going to be a massive transformation. And you know what? I'm not even saying that it has to be this huge physical change that other people notice, but I think that you will notice. I think that you will be able to recognize that a transformation has taken place. I think that your ability, this newfound independence, this new sense of self, this new sense of self-trust that you will be learning, this person that you will be developing into, I think it's going to come as a huge shock to you, and it's almost going to feel like the old you is kind of dead and buried in a way. And that's not to say that, you know, you should look back and think of that person as a bad person or as not doing things correctly. I don't think that's the case, but I think you will one day look back at that person, and you will sort of reminisce on how far you have come. You will reflect on that a lot. And I think this transformation will be a shock to you in a very pleasant way. Because with the Seven of Wands in particular, so obviously the first card that came up in your tarot was the Seven of Wands. And I think this really solidifies what we were talking about in the oracle reading. I definitely think you are going to be tapping into this energy of really asserting yourself and standing up for yourself a lot more. And these could be in sort of minuscule ways, but I think in the long run, they are going to add to this new sense of self confidence. I think you will be glowing up in the sense that you really aren't prepared to take other people's bullshit anymore. Like, I really don't think you are. There wasn't really a better way to word it, so I'm sorry if that was kind of blunt, but I just don't think that you are willing to accept less than you deserve. I don't think you're willing to accept bullshit. And I just think you are going to be putting people in their place a lot more. And I'm not saying that you are going to be like super argumentative and you're going to get into conflicts unnecessarily or something like that. But I just don't think you are going to let people walk all over you. If that ever was a thing you struggled with, if you sometimes felt like, you didn't want to step on people's toes, you didn't want to hurt people's feelings, maybe if you were at certain points a little bit shy or a little bit introverted, or you did identify as empathetic and you felt like it would hurt people's feelings to be honest with them and things like that, even if they had done you wrong, even if they had behaved in an incorrect, a rude way towards you, it's like you still didn't want to hurt people maybe. And maybe, you aren't, I'm not saying you're going to stop being hurtful, because obviously that's not what we want, but I think you are really going to start prioritizing your own emotional needs. You're not going to put other people before you at the expense of you, because as well, I'm getting with this Four of Swords that there's going to be a glow up in the sense of more rest and recuperation. So this could be, just asserting your boundaries. That's what it is. You are going to be asserting your boundaries way more. And I feel like this is going to be such a huge change for you. It's going to be such a big thing, because maybe you sort of get drawn into feeling sorry for people. And maybe because, if you are empathetic and you feel like you understand people really well, and you understand their motivations, sometimes you can have too much empathy for these people, and it might lead to you sort of dropping your boundaries a bit more than what you should do, because you're thinking of them instead of you. And I feel like part of this glow up that's taking place for you is you are no longer going to be doing that. You're, like we said, no longer going to be accepting less than you deserve. And that is going to lead to more recuperation and rest for you. That is going to lead to more healing as well with this Star card. You are going to become a source of your own healing. And I think, maybe part of this glow up, maybe if you are like going through therapy or something like that at the moment, or you have been to therapy before, or you are going to be going to therapy, or at the very least, if therapy isn't accessible to you, at the very least, you might be getting some kind of help with dealing with your emotions, with your mental health struggles, if you have any, or something like that. And this could be giving you some really healthy coping mechanisms that enable you to glow up, to go through this glow up, because you're really taking things on board. You're really learning about yourself and about other people. And maybe you're really reflecting on the fact that, other people's actions don't always have anything to do with us. Sometimes we are just not responsible for other people's feelings. We are only responsible for ourselves. I feel like that is maybe something you are really learning and realizing. And I think it's going to feel so good for you, because you are finally starting to assert yourself. You're finally starting to say your piece. Maybe all of these things that you've bottled up, that you've thought for months, for even years, I'm not saying that it's all going to come out in a big angry tirade, but I think, if somebody approaches you through an energy of trying to get you down, or of trying to make you go back on your boundaries and the things you want for yourself, I just don't think you're going to tolerate it. And that will feel so good when you actually get to turn around and stick up for yourself. You will realize that it doesn't make you a bad or nasty person. It doesn't make you argumentative to stick up for yourself. You do what you need to do for you, for your own well-being, for your own ability to heal and recuperate. And that will only in turn help other people respect you, because they will see that you respect yourself and that you aren't willing to go back on your boundaries. And you know, it's not a case of like not compromising. You can still be a person who is willing to compromise, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of your mental health. And I think that is something that you are very much realizing and something that's really helping you glow up. Pal one, I do get the sense that at certain points in your life, you might have struggled with confidence. And you know, as we kind of mentioned in the oracle reading, if you ever have tried to seek out validation from external sources, and you know, via somebody in your life, if you put a lot of stock in this particular person's opinion, I think a way you are going to be glowing up is that, again, because you are going to be sticking up for yourself a lot more, I think you are going to be putting a lot more emphasis on, what do I actually think? What are the things that I actually care about? It's not about what society believes. It's not about what this random friend of mine believes. They are not me. It is not their life. I think you are really starting to realize that you are in the driver's seat of your life and only you can change it for the better. And ultimately, people are always going to judge you no matter what you do, no matter who you are. There's always going to be somebody who is not happy with the way you are, who is not happy with your morals, who is not happy with your career decision, who is not happy with your choice to have children or to not have children. There is always going to be somebody, no matter what you do, who is unhappy with your decision. So maybe this is you, you know, realizing that the only person's opinion that really matters is you. So maybe this is you going through a glow up in the sense of more self-discovery, more figuring out what you actually want and how to achieve that. Because with this Seven of Cups, you could have been a person like, maybe you are kind of in fantasy land a lot, and I don't mean that as a criticism, pal one. I really don't, because I'm somebody who daydreams all the time. I am always in my head. I'm always zoned out. So I can completely understand this. And, you know, like, I understand the need to have those moments where we zone out and we're just in our heads and like in our little fantasy world having a daydream. That's all well and good. But I know that sometimes daydreaming can turn maladaptive. And I think, you know, when we spend too much time in our heads and not taking action, not putting things into action, I think then we end up like fantasizing about this life for ourselves, and then several months down the line we still haven't done anything. We haven't made even any small steps to create this life for ourselves and to bring things into fruition. And you know, if we look back, we might say like, well, I was dreaming about this 7 months ago, and 7 months ago I could have started this one little habit that would lead me to this greater purpose or this life that I wanted, but instead I've just sat here fantasizing about it. It's very easy to do that because, you know, we all work, we're all tired, time gets away with us, we don't always make the time to engage with the things we really want to do that align with our deeper sense of purpose. And straight up, we don't always have the time. Like, some people have families or other people to care for, and it can be very difficult to, you know, make that time. And I really do appreciate that. But if you are completely honest with yourself, pal one, and it's not for me to tell you the right answer, I'm just asking you to be honest with yourself alone, your own heart. If you ask yourself, have I ever had these moments of wishful thinking and of not taking action? Maybe part of this glow up, you know, you will be reflecting on that, on your indecision, what it has led you to. If you are unhappy with any decisions you have made or your indecision, your lack of taking action, this might be you really taking accountability for that and choosing to change that, choosing to make these steps towards what you actually want to do and be and become. And that is just so exciting because, you know, I don't think we can't just flip a switch. We can't flip our fingers and be like, right, I'm going to be one person who never takes action, who never does this, and then the next day I'm going to be a completely different person. But it's more about these small habits that add up over time that help us become the version of ourselves that we want to be. And maybe you have a version of that self in your head. Maybe you have read the books, you have been learning about self-improvement, you have been learning about how to do XYZ, you've been developing this knowledge, but maybe part of this glow up is you actually taking action, you not just reading about it, but actually doing. So if you wanted to try a new hobby, you are now not just learning about this hobby, about how to do it, about following instructions from a book. You are actually going and physically doing it. You're booking a class. You are going and doing the thing, I think, is what is coming through here. And that is a big part of your glow up. Part of your glow up could also be you learning to become more flexible or things falling into balance more. Maybe at a certain point in your life recently, you have felt as though things were very out of balance. You know, maybe if you were in a relationship, let's say, for one example, and it felt like you were giving your everything to that and you couldn't keep up with the other things in your life that you wanted to do and, goals that you wanted to reach. Maybe a part of your glow up is things coming more into balance in that way. Perhaps if you have ended that relationship or you have asserted more strong boundaries with this person, it doesn't have to be a person, it could be like another job or something. Or it could be your own negative thoughts. If you are becoming more balanced in the way that, the negative thoughts aren't outweighing the positive thoughts, if those thoughts are more in balance, this glow up could be, you getting control of your emotional and mental health in that way and things feeling more on an even keel in that sense. With this Seven of Swords coming through, it's making me feel as though something might be revealed to you that changes your perspective on perhaps who you are as a person, and this in turn influences your glow up. So, Seven of Swords can often refer to like a confession or a truth being revealed. So, it could simply be the case that, once you start stepping into the Seven of Wands energy, you start asserting yourself more, you start transforming. It could be that the truth is revealed to you from you in the sense that you are like, wow, I can actually do these things. I'm not actually this person who can't assert their opinion. I can actually assert my opinion when I want to. I can stick up for myself. I can say this to this person if I want. Maybe this is you discovering that the negative things you have been telling yourself about yourself are just not true. So it could be a truth revealed in that sense. Equally, this could be a truth revealed from another person. For example, if you've always had a friend who put you down, who was quite negative towards you, and that in turn made you feel quite negatively towards yourself, or something like that. It doesn't have to be a friend, it could be a romantic interest, a colleague, a family member. Just take it how it applies to your situation. But that message is coming through as an example. So if you do have someone like that in your life, or you have had someone like that in your life for a time, this could be that actually this person makes a confession and actually tells you maybe they've done some emotional work and they admit to you that actually they were putting you down, they were placing this negativity on you because they were jealous of you or something like that, because they felt such a lack within themselves that they felt as though they had to bring you down, they had to pull you down, drag you back down to their level or something like that. It doesn't have to be that exact way of wording it, but it just feels like something is revealed to you in the upcoming near future that changes your entire perspective. And this is something that helps you with this glow up. It helps you step into this glow up energy and it helps you level up your life in terms of your self confidence and therefore the way you can go out and approach the world. With the Six of Wands, it could also be that you are really receiving recognition for something. It could be that people are really starting to notice the hard work that you do. I guess this could be in terms of a job, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be that people are recognizing your positive traits, and in turn, that is also helping you with your self confidence. Obviously, self confidence has to come from within, but it is also nice, when we have worked hard on something, it is nice for people to tell us that they acknowledge our hard work, that we've done a good job with XYZ. So, potentially, this could be you putting your artwork out into the world or something like that. It doesn't have to be artwork, it could be anything. It could be like if you are a writer, you are putting some of your writing out into the world. You could be someone who normally has like a lot of imposter syndrome. And I feel like whatever you choose to put out in the world, whatever format you display yourself, you are going to be getting some very positive feedback on this. And that in turn will help you continue to glow up and level up, because it might make you think, I've been holding back on pursuing my dreams with the Seven of Cups. I've been daydreaming about my dreams for so long and just not really doing anything about them. And now that I've actually taken this leap, I've taken this step, I've changed my fate in some way, things are falling into place, and I am realizing that actually I do have the inner confidence to be able to pursue these things. It's not always going to end badly. Sometimes good things come out of me putting myself out there like that. I think, like, with this devil card coming through, and I think the reason I was talking about imposter syndrome, I think to a degree, pal one, you could feel as though you have been in like a prison of your own making, because the devil, when that comes up, it can talk about addiction. And I'm not saying this is like actual addiction, it could be for a very small minority of you, but it could be that you are clinging on to some unhealthy coping mechanisms of some kind. And with this particular pile, I'm not sensing that it is, anything like drinking or drugs. It could be like you could have used those things as a crutch at some point, but it absolutely doesn't have to be that. I'm thinking more when it's like clinging to an unhealthy coping mechanism. I'm thinking more of you like clinging to your daydream world as a form of safety. And by that, I mean, obviously, none of us can face rejection if we never put ourselves out there, if we never put our work out into the world, our writing, our art, if we never pursue a person that we are romantically interested in, if we just stay in our comfort zone, clinging to a semblance of control, clinging to that idea of safety, because nobody can reject us if we don't, first make that step and try to go after what we want. We can't be shut down if, we aren't going after something in the first place. That could have felt like, it could have felt like safety for you to do that, and therefore you never really, put yourself out there in the way that you wanted to. And I think this is you now feeling as though that control that you're trying to cling on to, it's become more of a prison. You are more unhappy not putting yourself out there, not going after the things that you want, that you are just so done with that way of being. You are no longer willing to be that person. You are really wanting to step into a more confident, assertive, and go-getting energy. And I think with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, I honestly think maybe you've put off making some of these changes because it has been painful to do so. Maybe you have kind of delayed making the changes that you needed to because it was more comfortable to cling on to this element of control. It was more comfortable to stay in this fantasy world, sort of dreaming about the life you could have, but not taking as much action than what you could potentially take. And I think with this Wheel of Fortune, something is maybe happening in the not so distant future that is really making you question that mentality, question your beliefs, the beliefs that you've held about yourself and about other people. And I think something is really happening to shift that energy to something more positive. Maybe something has forced you out of your comfort zone. I am not, maybe this thing that's ended, whatever it is, whatever ending this is that's happened, whether it be, a relationship ending, a friendship ending, a career ending, or something like that, the loss that you felt you've experienced, I think it is going to bring you to bigger and better things because it is shifting your perspective. It is putting things into perspective for you, and you might have been putting off these changes that you needed to make for a long time, but it's like now you've been placed in a situation where you were only delaying the inevitable. That's the phrase I'm getting. You were delaying the inevitable. And whatever this ending was, it had to happen in order for you to put you on the path of glowing up and achieving your dreams and going after the things that you actually want to go after. I feel as though the glow up you're going to be having in these upcoming months, pal one, will be very transformative and will put you on a path of being more aligned with the person you would like to be. Yes, there will be a lot of accountability involved, but ultimately, that will put you on a path that you will feel more aligned with, and I think you will feel grateful for. that is what I am getting for you, Pile 1, with the tarot portion of your reading. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did enjoy it, please like the video, please comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe. All of that would mean such a lot to me. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, Pile 2 Collective. If you chose the cup of tea sticker and you chose Pile 2, this will be your reading. This reading is titled Hi Bestie, all about your next glow up. How will you be leveling up and under what circumstances? If you would like further details regarding what this reading will entail, then please check out the introduction. But we are about to get started. As usual, we are going to start by looking at a couple of oracle cards, and you can use this portion of the reading as a little bit of an energy check to confirm you've chosen the right pile. As usual, not every single detail of the reading will resonate, and that is more than okay. You are always welcome to go back and choose a different pile, or you can even choose more than one pile if more than one pile is calling to you. That is all absolutely fine. We will then move on to the tarot portion of the reading, which will be a deeper dive into this current energy, and we will further explore how you are glowing up. I am very excited to do these readings. As I said in my intro, I love the hypey readings, so hopefully this should be fun. Just before I get started, I just want to thank you all so much for your support. It really does mean the absolute world to me. I notice every single like, every single comment, and every single subscriber, and it all means such a lot to me. I can't thank you enough for helping me and this channel grow. With that said, if you have not yet liked, if you have not yet commented, and if you have not yet subscribed, if you could do that, that would mean so much to me. I would be extremely grateful, and I would really appreciate the support. Just knowing that people like listening to my readings makes me feel so much more confident and happy going forward in this channel. So any feedback you can give would be much appreciated. Anyway, let's get started with your reading, Pile 2. I am very excited to get into this. So we have the Cup of Tea sticker, and we have Pile 2. Okay. So we have got card number 4, Be Still. And we have got card number 44, Storm. Every hurricane comes to an end, which is interesting. There's a little bit of a dichotomy, I would say, between these cards. The meaning of these cards seems quite polarizing when they are placed side by side. You know, with Storm, this is all about chaos, about movement, about destruction in many ways. And then we've got Be Still, which is just so interesting. It's like the opposite energy. I'm also noticing the repeated number 4. These two cards are from different decks, by the way, but we've got card number 4 here and card number 44 here. So maybe the number 444 is significant to you. If that is a synchronicity that you have been noticing recently, if that is a number you have been seeing a lot, maybe this is just confirmation that you chose the right pile. This is your pile. If so, hi, welcome. So if you are interested in angel numbers or anything like that, maybe go and look up the number 444 and see if that means anything to you, see if that is significant. That could just be a little bit of advice going forward that's coming through. So Pile 2, the overarching message, the overarching energy that I'm getting with your pile, with in particular this Storm card, every hurricane comes to an end. I really think that honestly, Pile 2, you have been through it recently. But another sort of pressing message that I'm currently getting is that Pile 2, you are a lot stronger than you think. And I think a big part of your glow up is going to be you discovering this about yourself. I think whatever you have been through in the not so distant past, whether that be material struggles, job struggles, whether it be a breakup, whether it be difficult family dynamics, a separation, a divorce, a friendship ending, whatever has happened in your not so distant past has felt very chaotic. It has felt like you have just been going through the ringer. And I don't think you have really had time to sort of reflect on your emotions. And I don't think you've always had enough time to be able to process what has happened to you. I think you've just sort of been in survival mode. I'm getting the word survival mode. And I think you've just been concentrating on getting through whatever you need to get through just to reach this other side. And I think in all this, you haven't really acknowledged the part you've had to play in terms of like being your own hero, in terms of seeing yourself through this chaos, pushing through when the going got tough. I don't think you have really had time to acknowledge that. So I think a big part of this glow up will be you realizing that you are a lot stronger than what you give yourself credit for. It could have felt that, everything has just been up in turmoil, everything has felt so chaotic. There hasn't been any time, this is it, there hasn't been any time to be still, to just be present with yourself, to just reflect on like how you got from A to B, how things started and where they have ended up. There hasn't been any real time to consider that, to think about that. And I think this upcoming glow up will involve a lot of you processing what has happened to you more and really feeling your feelings, but also acknowledging how far you've come in all of this, the things you have had to achieve to get to where you are now, the struggles that you have had to overcome, the hurdles that you have had to get past. It is like this acknowledgement of all the hard work you've done, but at the same time, I don't think the biggest focus is looking at the past. It's more sort of looking at how far you have come, the changes that you have had to embrace. And you're not looking back at the past and thinking like, oh, I wish I was still in this place where things were really easy. It's more like, oh, things were chaotic, but now the storm is coming to an end. I think things are going to feel like they're falling more into balance for you. And I just want this to be a source of reassurance more than anything. Obviously, this is a collective reading, and everyone's individual situations, everyone's individual circumstances are going to be very different. I know we've already said that, but whatever you have been through, pal, too, if you have had those moments where you have been on the verge of collapse and you have been saying to yourself, like, whatever I'm going through, whatever aspect of the human experience that I am currently going through, I feel like I cannot take any more of it. This is just too much. Things have become too destructive. The storm is too strong to weather or something like that. I just want you to know that part of your glow up in the upcoming future is that feeling coming to an end, things starting to feel more in balance again, maybe you starting to feel more like you again, and also you having more of this opportunity to just be still, whether that's in terms of like practicing meditation or going for more walks in nature, or just having time to sit and process your feelings or to talk about them if you are engaging with any kind of therapy or something like that. I just feel like there is going to be more time and less chaos for you to be able to do that. And I think that's going to be so important for you and a really crucial part of your glow up. On the storm card, this imagery of, this girl fixing her crown, it's like maybe it felt as though this storm, whatever was going on in your life, it almost got you acting not like you. It almost blew your crown off. It almost got you behaving in a way that wasn't in alignment with who you truly are. Maybe you didn't feel as though you were showing up in the best version of yourself. You weren't showing up with integrity. It got you in a kind of more low vibrational energy, if you want to call it that. But it's like you're reattaching your crown, you're fixing your crown. And this is telling me that you're very much sort of back in action. You're back sort of becoming the real you again, which is just such a beautiful thing. Like it says, every hurricane comes to an end. And I think you are coming out of that hurricane era, that chaotic era, and you are embracing a new era of more stability, of more balance, of being able to just be calm. It's like going from a storm or turbulent waters to calmer waters. That is the overall kind of imagery that I'm getting with this. And again, I keep looking at the number 44, so please do look up the number 444 or 44 if you are called to do so. The imagery on this Be Still card as well, because she is upside down on this card, it's also making me think of potentially you seeing something, you seeing a situation from a different perspective. And pal two, please don't take what I'm about to say as me being undermining of your feelings, your emotions, or anything like that. Because what I'm about to say, I do just want you to acknowledge that I have also been there, I have also felt like this. But you know, for example, like if you go through a breakup or something like that, and in the moment you are going through it, it feels like you will never recover from that situation. It feels like the worst possible thing in the world. Nobody has ever had it as hard as you. You will never ever get over this in a million years. You know, you get that feeling where you're just like, I will never stop grieving this situation. I will never get over this. I think this is potentially you. Whatever situation you've been in, you're seeing it from this new perspective, and you are really seeing it as like, you know, there was one stage where I thought that I could never overcome this, but I've really overcome it, and I'm stronger because of it. And again, that is not me undermining your situation. I realize that there are going to be many different situations. It's not all going to be like just a breakup of a relationship. And if you have experienced a more significant trauma, if you have experienced a loss, like an actual death of a family member or someone close to you, I realize that that isn't ever going to be the type of thing that you would see as a positive or good thing. And I'm not implying that you should think of it that way. I realize we all go through different things, and it can be super annoying when, you know, someone tells you to see the bright side of a situation when it's something that has made you go through a significant amount of emotional turmoil because it feels like such a loss. I realize that, and I don't want to be the one to tell you that. But I think whatever has happened, you are learning to take something good from it, even if it does still feel like it is the worst possible thing. It is a huge loss. So let's say that, you know, somebody close to you has passed away. Obviously, you're never going to be like, oh, that was a good thing. You're always going to think about it. You're always going to grieve it. But even in that instance where that has happened to you, I think, you know, one example could be you thinking, well, you know, this person who I have now lost, they always encouraged me to do XYZ, and they really inspired me to do XYZ. And losing them has got me thinking about how I want to make the world a better place, how I want to create change because that's what they would have wanted for me, or something like that. It's not that you're thinking of like whatever situation that is as a good thing, but you are taking something more beautiful and more positive from it, and it is really helping you embrace this next stage of your life and your glow up. Obviously, it's going to be different for every single person. And, you know, if it is a breakup or something like that, and you are actually now seeing it as a good thing because you're seeing it as like, well, that person wasn't good for me anyway. And, you know, I can go out and meet all these new people, have these exciting opportunities. This person was holding me back. It could be something like that. But obviously it is going to be different for each person. So just bear that in mind. I don't want to ever undermine something you have gone through. Because another thing that's popping into my head, because we got the cup of tea as your little sticker, it's making me think of the phrase storm in a teacup, which without having access to the definition up in front of me, I might not get this 100% correct, but I feel like the phrase storm in a teacup refers to sometimes things being blown out of proportion in the way that something feels like an absolutely huge deal, a big ordeal in the moment, and actually in the grand scheme of things, because, you know, it's confined to this teacup, it's in a teacup, it's not as important if you look at the bigger picture. So I think that that is really what you are acknowledging. I think that something that maybe left you feeling very disheartened at one point, something you felt like you would never recover from, it is becoming less of a focus in your life. And I think you are starting to put it more into perspective. You are now thinking of it through a lens of like, well, yeah, this did feel bad at the time, and, you know, maybe it will never be a good thing what happened. but I can take something from it. It does not have to ruin my life the way that I thought it once would. This does not have to be the end of me. This does not have to end in ultimate destruction. I can still be something. I can still do something after this. It doesn't have to be like my breaking point the way I was once making it out to be. I think it is that sort of mentality, and that will be a huge part of your glow up, having this new perspective and you sort of feeling more yourself again after, this thing, this significant event that has happened to you. I think you are really coming out of that energy of only seeing it through this one lens of it being your breaking point or the thing to destroy you. I think you're no longer seeing it in that way, and that is such a beautiful and empowering thing. That is what I'm getting for the oracle portion of your reading, pal 2. We are going to move along to the tarot portion of your reading in just a moment. So please bear with me and I'll see you in the tarot portion of your reading. Hi pal 2 collective, welcome back to the tarot portion of your reading. Without hesitation, let's just get started and have a look at the cards we pulled for you. Okay, pile 2, we have got strength. We have got the 3 of Cups. We have got the High Priestess. We have got the Fool in reverse. We have got the 2 of Wands. We have got the Queen of Coins. We have got the Emperor. We've got the Empress, which is crazy that they both came out together because this deck was very well shuffled. So we've got the Emperor and the Empress. We've got the 10 of Coins. And we have the Sun. We have such a lot of major arcana, pal 2. It is crazy. That is very powerful. We have a powerful energy coming from you, pal 2. Okay, pal 2. So one absolutely beautiful thing about this reading is obviously all the major arcana, which is important. But the first message that I'm getting is that you, for the first time in a long time, if not for the first time ever, I think you are discovering your own strength. I think you are acknowledging just how strong, how courageous, how brave you have had to be. And I think with that comes a lot of power, which will help enable you access this glow up energy. With this strength card coming through, we do have Leo energy, so that could be significant to you, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be the case that you are stepping into more of this self-confident Leo energy. And you know what? I think with you, pal 2, I think a lot of this strength that you are acknowledging, it might come as a shock to you in the sense that when you look back on all the things you have been through and you are talking about it, I'm getting the image of you talking about, some of the things you have gone through, the situations that you have been placed in the past. Maybe you're talking to your friends about it, like with this 3 of Cups as well, at a social event, which we'll go on to talk about in just a moment. But maybe you're chatting about that. And I think you have this moment of realization where you are like, actually, I've been through kind of a lot. And the way I've dealt with it, I've been so strong. I've been so resilient. I've really showed up for myself. And that in itself is a very empowering feeling. And I think it just goes to show that you can cope with way more than what you originally thought you could. I think you are getting this real sense of realizing how brave you are and how brave you have actually been. And I think other people around you are probably thinking well, yeah, pal 2, obviously, we've been telling you that for a long time. I don't think anyone around you, pal 2, would be shocked by you saying well, actually, I've been through quite a lot and I'm quite strong. I think other people around you very much acknowledge this already and they see you as strong. But I think you are having more of this internal realization, which is in turn making you feel quite powerful, to be honest. It's making you realize that the power comes from within you. You do not have to rely on anyone else to make you feel empowered and to make you feel powerful. There is a lot of kind of bright, shiny energy here as well with this sun showing up. It's making me feel as though something about your next glow up will have you embracing your inner child in a way that makes you feel in alignment with who you really are, with this high priestess coming through as well. It makes me feel as though throughout this upcoming glow up, you are really listening to your inner voice. You are allowing your inner voice to guide you in a way that, maybe you have felt a little bit disconnected from your intuition in the past due to whatever recent situation you've been through where you haven't really been able to rely on your intuition because perhaps you have just been focusing on honestly like getting through the day. Perhaps you have been in survival mode or something like that. And you haven't really had time to be still, like we got in the oracle, and to think about what you really want and to really tap into that, like your more spiritual side, your intuition. But I really feel like the energy you're going to be stepping into, I think you're feeling more brave about making your own decisions, and you're feeling more confident in putting your best foot forward and shining brightly in a way that maybe you haven't been able to do in more recent months up until now. I really do think you are going to be glowing. You are going to be really radiating a very positive energy, which other people are going to pick up on. And I think with this Three of Cups, the socializing taking place, I think maybe this is you coming out of your shell potentially after a period of isolation or something like that. And I'm not saying that, if you are like an introverted person usually, or you like to spend time by yourself, I don't think this is going to be you going out and partying every single night and getting drunk every single night or anything like that. But I think it's going to be you feeling more comfortable and confident with attending social engagements or something like that, and you actually just feeling at ease, but also having this sense of balance with it. So like we say, it's not, you necessarily going out every single night and taking things to extremes and being really reckless with how much you drink or anything like that. It's you, having that balance. So you're doing things that make you feel good, but also you are having these moments of, solitude and just being still and listening to yourself with this high priestess. There are those moments, but equally, when you do go out there, I think you're going to be really connecting with like-minded people and having some fun, to be quite honest, because maybe you haven't been able to have fun the past few months as much as usual. And I think part of this glow up will be you sort of, I know we said embracing your inner child with the Sun card, but with the Three of Cups as well, it's just making me think of you going out and just having a good time. Maybe that's something you kind of had forgotten how to do if you were so wrapped up in whatever situation you have been dealing with. Maybe you had forgotten how to just go out and have fun and be with your friends and let loose a little bit. And I think that's going to be something that's very much happening for you. And I definitely think people are really going to be noticing this glowing and confident energy. When you encounter people at these social events, it could be that you have certain things coming up that maybe at first you're feeling a bit like, oh, I feel like obligated to go to this event, and maybe I'm not really up to socializing. Maybe if you have a literal like engagement party or a christening or a wedding or something like that, it's something where maybe you are a little bit conscious about seeing different people after an extended period of time, and you're a little bit like, oh, should I just cancel? Like, I don't really know if I'm up to going, but you feel kind of obligated to go because, if it's a christening or something important like that, you just feel as though you should be there. And maybe you force yourself to go, but I think when you end up going, you have a really good time, and maybe you end up connecting with people who you haven't spoken to in a while, but it's a really positive and fulfilling experience. And I think they are also noticing how strong and confident you have become. And even if you were that way to begin with, which I think you probably always have been strong, and other people have probably always noticed this, but I think this current energy you're in, because you are radiating so much light and because you are really realizing these things about yourself, it just kind of beams from you. And I think that it's something that people are really picking up on, and it just makes them want to gravitate towards you and makes them want to spend time with you, because again, you are just radiating so much high vibrational energy, if that's what you want to call it. So the Two of Wands can often talk about like leaving comfort and taking risks. And with this High Priestess, I'm getting that maybe because you are now in this energy of starting to listen to your inner voice more and starting to rely on your own intuition, your gut feelings for guidance, it could feel, if you have been sort of disconnected from that energy for a while due to whatever sort of traumatic situation you have been dealing with, if that has been at the forefront of your mind and you haven't been able to focus on, listening to that inner voice, it could be that with this Two of Wands, it feels like whatever you are about to do or whatever you are thinking about is going to be a risk. But ultimately, this leaving comfort is again going to lead to you feeling way more connected to your inner child and is going to lead to you shining brightly. Ultimately, is going to lead to success as well with this 10 of Coins, which we will talk about a little bit more in a sec. But with the Two of Wands, it's like something feels like a risk, but ultimately I think it's going to be something that really pays off for you and something you feel as though aligns with who you truly are as a person and who you want to be. Now, obviously, it's going to be different for every single person, but for some of you, this could be something as simple as you attending more social events. If you are normally the kind of person who might shy away or might feel like cancelling due to social anxiety, let's say, or just being introverted or something like that, it could be that you taking the risk to attend more of these social events and to reconnect with old friends or something like that. It feels like stepping out of your comfort zone. Maybe if you sort of have been isolating yourself due to a situation and you haven't sort of been out and socialized in a while, maybe this feels like a big challenge to overcome, but ultimately it's going to lead to you having a lot more fun, having more cause for celebration and connecting with different kinds of people, which ultimately is going to feel like a very positive experience for you. Or equally, it could be something on a bigger scale, such as you going down a different career path. Maybe whatever has happened to you has made you sort of reassess where you want to be in life, and you are feeling the desire more to go after a life path that is in alignment with you and what your intuition is really calling you to do. And I feel as though this is something that is going to lead to a big glow up, because you are going to be achieving a lot of success with this decision that you decide to make, whether it be small or whether it be on a larger scale. I think this is going to lead to a lot more fulfillment for you. I think tapping into your intuition at this time will be very powerful for you in terms of making decisions. Some of these decisions might feel quite bold, it might feel quite out there, but I think if you know in your gut, if you know in your heart that it is the right decision for you, then you need to be able to listen to that and allow your intuition to really guide you. And with the Emperor and the Empress showing up, I get this real sense of balance with you, pal, too, because it's not one or the other. It sort of reminds me of like the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So you could have a really good balance of both within you, or part of this glow up is you stepping into that energy of having a really good balance of both. Maybe if either of those things felt out of balance at some point, I think this is your Emperor and your Empress energy being on this even keel, you being able to tap into both of those things and utilize them as part of this glow up. Obviously, the Empress, represents beauty, nature, fertility, and I'm not saying that it has to represent physical fertility if that is not something that you are currently focusing on, but this could just be in relation to you creating something, creating more authentically and bringing an idea into fruition, maybe something that you had been not really thinking about or sort of subconsciously putting off due to this other difficult situation that you'd been in due to the fact you were going through it. Maybe there wasn't enough time to explore your creative ideas, and maybe part of this glow up is you putting those ideas out there, bringing things into fruition, creating something out of a genuine joy of just creating and just being in alignment with your authentic self. But with the Emperor showing up as well, I'm getting whatever this endeavor is, you also bring a lot of discipline to the table with it. So obviously, I think when you're a creative person, it can be quite difficult to have that focus and discipline because, creativity, it sometimes feels like it comes in ebbs and flows. and you just have to embrace the creative moments as and when they happen, but they don't always happen when you want them to. So I think with this Emperor card, a part of your glow up is you finding ways to implement structure in terms of your creativity. So, maybe if due to this past situation or this situation you've gone through recently, maybe you didn't have enough time to dedicate towards your creativity. I really feel like in this upcoming few months, as part of your glow up, you are really going to be embracing those creative moments, and you are going to be harnessing this sense of discipline in order for you to produce these ideas. So it's not just thinking about these creative projects, it's actually doing them, actually bringing life to these creative projects, which is very exciting. Pal 2. It could also be, Pal 2, that you have been or you are going to be embarking on a fitness journey as well. When we talk about discipline with the Emperor card and strength as well, just looking at the imagery on this card, it's making me feel like, there could be some element of a fitness journey. Doesn't have to be. But if you do have fitness goals, it could be that, other people at these social events are noticing that you have worked very hard. And I think you are acknowledging that there's something very powerful in you being able to say, well, yes, I implemented my discipline. I did this. I made this happen for myself. I had this fitness goal and I adhered to this routine and I got where I wanted to be. And not only do I notice it, not only do I feel confident, but also other people are noticing, and hopefully that is inspiring for them as well. I think there's power in you kind of being able to say, like, I took control of my life and I did this, I had the discipline and I got where I wanted to be. Like, if people are seeing you at these social events and they're saying like, oh, Pal 2, how did you get in shape? Is it that, I can't remember what it's called, is it the diabetes drug that everyone's talking about, that people have been talking about for the past year? Is it Ozempic or something? I'm really sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. But yeah, it could be, oh, are you like taking Ozempic? And you're like, no, this is my hard work. I have done this. Thank you very much. I think there's power and self-confidence to be found in that. And it doesn't have to be like losing weight or anything like that. It could be that maybe you are somebody who struggles to gain weight and you are hoping to gain more muscle or something like that. And you have been working very hard to achieve those goals. And if so, I think you and other people around you, you are finally starting to notice your physical self change in the way that you want it to, and it is in alignment with who you feel like on the inside, if that makes sense. I think with this 10 of coins, it could be multiple things, but it could be, and this might only apply for a small minority of people watching, but it could be that you are coming into some money or some inheritance that might help you. And obviously I realize that, money, material things don't come in and solve our internal problems. However, we can't discount the fact that having privilege in a material world, when we live in a society where money rules everything, money does have an impact and it can help us. It can't solve our problems. Like, if you are having mental health struggles, it doesn't matter whether you are a rich person with mental health struggles or a poor person with mental health struggles. But if you are a rich person with mental health struggles, you do have to acknowledge that it is going to be easier for you to access the help that you need to get back on an even keel. If you have more money, you have more access to help, you have more access to resources. I'm not saying that your mental health struggles would be any less valid, but it's just that you might have access to more things to enable you to deal with those struggles. So it could be that you are receiving some kind of money or inheritance from some kind. It doesn't have to be an inheritance. It could just be that, if you have applied for assistance from the government to help you with a disability or something like that, or just help with the general cost of living, because obviously the cost of living is serious right now. It could be that that is coming through and that helps you sort of step into this energy of being able to empower yourself more, because you are now able to not just focus on surviving, but you are able to focus more on thriving. something like that. It could also be that you are spending time with family more, and that is enabling you to glow up. And it doesn't have to be your physical family if you are not in touch with them. This could be a chosen family. Maybe you are just spending time with more people who light you up, more people who make you feel connected to that sense of your inner child, more people who inspire confidence and inspire you to feel that sense of balance. I think maybe with this Fool in reverse, you have maybe dealt with people before. Maybe this is the past situation that we're talking about, but it could be that you've dealt with somebody in your life who wasn't showing up for you in the way that maybe they should have done. Maybe this was somebody who was quite careless. It could have been somebody who was careless with your emotions and heart, or just with you generally. It could have been somebody who was quite immature and just quite reckless. They weren't showing up in the energy that you needed them to be. Or maybe you even feel as though this was a past version of you with this Fool. Doesn't have to be. It can apply either way. This could be a person who has been in your life recently, or it could be a past version of you. But it just felt as though you or this person at one point, you were being quite reckless. You or they weren't showing up for you in the way that was needed. And I think you are definitely coming out of that energy with the people you are spending time with, the people who you are willing to invest in. I think these people are better quality. Not in the way of like we're rating people, because that's a little bit gross. I don't mean it in an objectifying way, but I mean at one stage in your life, maybe you were dealing with people who weren't on the same page as you, and they were encouraging you to participate in some unsavory behaviors that weren't really in alignment with who you actually are as a person. And maybe, you know, now you're spending time with people who really nurture you and nurture your ideas, and who really inspire this confidence within you, and you feeling as though you're in alignment or becoming in alignment with who you truly are at your core. I think that is what this is about. I definitely think you have matured a lot with this Queen of Coins. I definitely think you have learned more about yourself, and you are approaching things not in this reckless way with the Fool in reverse, but in this energy of, you know, being generous, but also being sensible with your resources. If you are going out, maybe this is not like taking things to excess with drinking or with drugs or something like that. You are being sensible, you are having a good time, you are having a few drinks, and then you are saying to yourself, right, I'm going to go home now, I'm going to have a little snack so I don't feel unwell in the morning, and I'm just going to have this really positive sense of balance with whatever I do going forward. And I think in turn, this sense of balance is just making you feel like a more empowered version of yourself, because you are feeling more in control and disciplined with this Emperor. You are like, you know what, I make my own decisions. I decide when I go out, I decide how long for, I decide who I spend time with. And that in itself can feel like a really empowering thing. This is overall a very beautiful energy, pal, too, and I am excited for you and this upcoming glow up. Those are the main messages that I'm getting for you, pal, too. I really, really hope this reading resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like the reading, please like the video, please comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe. All of that would mean the absolute world to me, and I would appreciate it so, so much. Thank you for listening, pal, too, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi Pal 3 Collective, welcome to your reading. If you chose this bubble bath sticker and you chose Pal 3, this will be your reading. This reading is titled Hi Bestie, all about your next glow up. How are you leveling up and under what circumstances? So I am very excited to get started with this reading. As I always say, I love the hype you up, give you a little bit of confidence readings, and I am very excited to see how you are next glowing up, Pile 3. If you want further details regarding what this reading will entail, then please check out the introduction. But I am just about to get started. I just wanted to give a big thank you so much to anyone who has liked the video, anyone who has left me a comment, and anybody who has taken the time to subscribe. I really do appreciate it so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. But trust me, I do. I am so grateful for every single like, comment, and sub. I notice every single one, and it just encourages me to keep making more of this content. I'm really glad that people are enjoying it and that people are actually listening. So yeah, if you haven't done any of those things so far, please do that to help me keep making this content and allow me and my channel to grow. With all that said, I would like to get started with this reading, so without any more hesitation, let's have a look at the cards we pulled for you, pile 3. Okay, so we have number 5, Beauty Ritual, and we have number 39, Raindrops, Take a Chance on Them. Okay, pile 3, so why am I feeling like you are my hyper-independent pile who doesn't have time for any man or woman whilst simultaneously craving a strong connection and deeper intimacy with somebody? With this take a chance on them card, I think you are somebody who you have maybe learned the hard way not to take people at face value, and I think to a degree it has made you quite skeptical of other people. I actually think that you are the kind of person who can read people to filth. I think you can see right through people, and I think that is something maybe you have had to learn over time. Maybe you haven't always been as discerning with your time and your energy. But I think due to your experiences, these might have been recent experiences or they might not have been. I am not sure just yet. But due to your experiences, I think you are careful. You are a lot more careful now with your time and energy and who you give it to. But it could have got to a point where maybe you have been a little bit unwilling to give genuinely good people a chance due to your fear of intimacy and of being hurt like you have been in the past. So I think maybe this next glow up is about you finding that balance. It's realizing that yes, not everybody is deserving of our time and energy. It is great to be independent. It is great to be self-sufficient, and I very much think that you are. However, it is also okay to want a deeper connection with somebody. It is also okay to want friendships and relationships, and not everybody is out to get us. I think part of this glow up is you learning that, and not everybody has to be kept at a safe distance for fear of them hurting us. And I think, maybe if you have kept people at a distance, I'm not blaming you. I think this has been a coping mechanism due to the way you have been treated in the past. It has felt safer for you to do that. However, I think part of this glow up is you realizing that some people are in alignment with you. Some people do have genuinely good intentions. Not everyone is bad. Not everyone is going to deceive you. Some people are worthy of that friendship, that trust, and in some cases, a deeper, more intimate or romantic relationship. And it is okay to want that. Like, it's amazing being independent, but it is okay to want something more. It doesn't make you weak, or it doesn't make you needy for wanting a relationship. If anything, acknowledging all those multifaceted parts of yourself, realizing that you are a complete human being who, yes, sometimes you like to spend time alone, sometimes you like to be by yourself, practicing your beauty rituals, which we'll go on to in a sec, but sometimes you enjoy that alone time. It's okay to have your own hobbies, your own interests. Not everything has to involve another person or a partner or something. But equally, it doesn't make you less of an independent person wanting a partnership, wanting an opportunity to establish a connection with another human being. We are all human beings, and a lot of us want that, and that is okay. It is very natural. It isn't a bad thing to want that, and I think part of this glow up is you realizing that, and that it's okay to, do things for yourself, but also it's okay to want some validation from a partner, as long as we are not relying on a partner or another person to give us a constant source of validation. It is fine to want your partner or your friend or just the people in your life who you care about and who should care about you. It's okay to want them to validate your feelings and to acknowledge your emotions and to support you and also to hype you up when you need to be hyped, because that's what, human relationships are all about. It is give and take. We want to be there for other people, and when the time comes where it's their turn to be there for us, we want that mutual reciprocal relationship. It has to be give and take, and it's okay to want that from other people, because I think you're very much somebody who, you are now quite self-secure, and I think you have been used to giving other people compliments, hyping other people up, making them feel good. I don't think you're scared to do that, and I think that's a truly beautiful thing about you. But I think sometimes people don't always do the same for you, and a lot of the time I think it's because they are honestly intimidated by you, because pile 3, I do have to say, I really do think you are a baddie. I think the way you take care of yourself and the way you take care of other people is honestly unmatched. And I think sometimes people get scared that they can't be on your level with that. I think people get intimidated by the fact that they can't give you everything they deserve to give you. And sometimes I think that results in them, maybe putting you down a little bit or unnecessarily criticizing you, because I think sometimes people feel as though they have to knock you down a peg or two because they see you as this ultra confident person, or they look at you and they are like, pile 3 is so physically attractive, how could they not be so confident? And I am not feeling that confident, so I have to sort of pull them down to my level. And obviously that's not very fair, and that comes from a place of that person's deeper issues with themselves. But I think sometimes it makes you feel as though people don't give back to you as much as you give to them. And I think sometimes you crave a little bit of validation. Please don't get that twisted in any way. I don't think you rely on validation, but I think, it is very normal for us to want validation from time to time from our partner, our friends, our family. And I think sometimes you want that, and then I think you kind of reprimand yourself due to this hyper independence that you kind of possess. I think you sort of say to yourself, well, don't think that, you're being too needy. But I don't think you are being needy. I think that is just something you've tricked yourself into believing, like a coping mechanism due to people not giving you what you need. So I think part of this next stage of your life, this next chapter, and this glow up for you will be realizing that it's okay to want the things you want. It's okay to go after the things you want, and it's okay to get compliments and to get validation and to feel good about that. That is very normal, as long as you are not relying on it as your only source of self-confidence. That is okay. I think this is you coming to terms with those different sides of yourself. The fact that yes, you can be independent, but you can also sometimes desire human connection and intimacy, and that is very much okay. Now, obviously, with the take a chance on them card, this could be that you have been hurt in the past, or you have recently gone through a breakup, and maybe you are a little bit reluctant about letting someone new into your life, even if, feelings are there. Maybe there's a little bit of fear on your part due to what you've been through in the past. Maybe you're thinking, I just cannot get too invested in this other person because of what I've been through. I can't go through that again. I'm on my leveling up path, and I don't want my confidence to be knocked down again due to getting into another failed relationship. If you perceive, your previous relationships as having failed for some reason. It could be that you have become so independent that, maybe you're not giving this other person a chance, even though feelings are there and feelings are very much mutual, and even though it has potential. It could be that you are, a little bit frightened of intimacy due to past situations, or just feeling like if you were to take this chance on this other person, then you would get off track, because maybe you have been focusing a lot on yourself, of leveling up your physical and emotional self with this beauty ritual card. I think you have been really putting a lot of effort, not only into your external image, but also doing a lot of work on the inside with how colourful she is and how, everything is this beautiful balance of colour. I think you have done a lot of inner emotional work on leveling up your confidence, but also I think this is kind of radiating through externally with it literally being beauty ritual. It could be that a part of your glow up or something you have been focusing on in recent months is leveling up your fitness routine, or changing your hairstyle to the way that you want it, or changing your makeup routine, or just having a self-care routine that feels more in alignment with you nurturing yourself. Like maybe if you previously didn't have time to have a full self-care routine, like a skincare routine or something like that, maybe this is you investing in this new skincare routine, or doing something as simple as like after you've showered and exfoliated and shaved, if you do that, it's like just putting lotion on and really taking that time to nurture yourself by rubbing that lotion into your body and it being a sensuous experience. I'm getting a lot of Libra and Taurus vibes from these cards. It doesn't have to be the case, but just a lot of that feminine energy. You don't have to identify as female, but it's just a case of you tapping into that more feminine side of yourself, whatever gender identity you identify as. It's you really being in like soft girl energy or something like that. Really taking the time to spend time on yourself, to look after yourself, to practice self-care, to invest in the things that you want to invest in to make you feel good on the outside and inside, and realizing that is very much important and that those things can be interlinked. Yes, the way you feel on the inside shouldn't depend solely on looks, but it's not so much about looks as in what you were genetically blessed with, but it's more about you in whatever physical format you take, you show up as in this world. It's about you looking after that. It doesn't matter whether you're tall or short or big or skinny, or you have long hair or short hair, or you're a man or a woman. Whichever way you enter the world, you approach the world, you are looking after that physical version of you. And because you are looking after your physical body, it's like your internal strength, your internal beauty is also shining through. And I think that is very much something that other people are noticing and that you are feeling more confident in. I think this glow up will involve you, still doing some inner work in terms of like if you are more hyper independent, it's maybe you learning that you can rely on other people. And again, it doesn't make you weak. Being vulnerable doesn't make you any less strong. You can be independent and also be vulnerable and also sometimes rely on other people. That is okay. So this glow up could be you kind of realizing that you have to have that balance. With take a chance on them, it doesn't even have to be an other person. It could well be that, new feelings are cropping up between you and another person. However, it could be take a chance on them as in take a chance on you. If you have lacked confidence in the past, if you have not pursued your passions, if you have shut down some of your own ideas due to this lack of being able to take decisive action, this glow up could be you taking a chance on yourself, having more self-belief. Part of this glow up could be you, adopting a new hobby and putting your hobby out there and leaving yourself open to criticism, but feeling more confident about that, not feeling as though, you have to be insecure about the projects that you put out into the world. This could be anything. It could be like you putting your music out there. It could be you singing, you writing, even just you with the beauty ritual card coming through, you like having a makeup YouTube channel or an Instagram, or putting TikToks out there of reviewing like skincare or something like that. It could really be anything, but it could be you taking a chance on yourself in order to get to this next stage of your life and to level up. I'm feeling really great about that, in all honesty. Or it could be you entering a new career path or something like that and taking a chance on a new job, getting out of a job situation that is no longer serving you and moving on to something new, something very exciting like that. With the beauty ritual card, I'm also getting the feeling of like somebody going through a breakup and then going out and getting a new tattoo or changing their hair or getting a new piercing just on a whim. and them being quite happy and feeling quite confident that they have made that decision for themselves. And even though it was maybe quite an impulsive one, you know, they're feeling good and it's a part of the new version of them, a part of this glow up. So that could relate to you. Obviously, it doesn't have to. I think there is still some work to be done in terms of the internal side. Obviously, I think that is something that you have been working on. But with the flower crown, I keep thinking of Midsummer. And I'm not saying, you know, that anything that happened in the plot of Midsummer is currently or has happened in your life. But obviously, the leading actress, I can't remember what her name was in the film, but I know she's played by Florence Pugh. So it could be that in a previous situation you were in, whether it was a romantic relationship or with a friend or a family member or just in a job, it could have felt like you were gaslighted, because in that film, I know like her partner, her boyfriend, gaslighted, manipulated her for a long time. And I know she felt, you know, a sense of abandonment due to what had happened with her family and things like that. And this situation with her boyfriend, it definitely did not help her mental state, I think we can say. And I think, you know, the outcome of that film, the ending, things went too far. Things became quite extreme. And I'm not saying that you have done or would ever do anything like what happened in that film. I'm not comparing the two. I'm just giving like a very exaggerated version of like, you know, there's a point where you sit back and you're like, good for her. But then sometimes things go too far. So it could be that, you know, you have really embraced your own beauty, your own inner and outer beauty, your own hyper independence. But with this take a chance on them coming through, maybe this hyper independence has become a little bit too extreme. And maybe you do need to focus on learning how to let people back into your life again, how to be vulnerable if you have been unwilling to do that due to whatever you have been through in the past. Maybe this glow up is you learning not to, you know, shut out people entirely. You can still be vulnerable. You can still open up about your emotions. It doesn't take away from the fact that you are still an independent person. I think that is very much something that you are learning as part of this glow up. With all the rainbow colours coming through on this card, and with raindrops, take a chance on them, and this being two women, two female presenting people, this next part of your glow up could be you embracing your sexuality more. If you identify as a person who isn't heterosexual, this doesn't have to be the case, obviously might only apply for a few people, but I do just want to bring that up. Like, let's say you are a bisexual or a pansexual woman or something like that, and you know you have never embraced that side of yourself before. If you have been in a heterosexual presenting relationship beforehand, this could be you getting in touch with more of that side of yourself throughout this upcoming glow up, you going on dates with different people, or you attending Pride or something like that, or really getting involved with activities surrounding Pride and things like that, and really embracing that part of yourself, which, if so, is very exciting. And you know, I'm very happy for you. Doesn't have to be the case. It might not be sexuality in terms of like being heterosexual or being gay or being bisexual or anything like that. It could just be like dating new people and embracing new ways of expressing your sexuality in whatever context and with whatever people that you would like to express that with. And maybe you feeling more confident in embracing those aspects of your sexuality that you weren't able to embrace previously or something like that. Okay, that is what I am getting for the oracle portion of your reading, pile 3. We are just going to move along to the tarot portion, so I'll see you in that part of your reading. Hi, pile 3 collective. Welcome back to the tarot portion of your reading. Without hesitation, let's get started and have a look at the cards we pulled for you. Okay, pile 3. So we have the Knight of Cups reversed. We have the Two of Swords reversed. We have the Eight of Swords. We have the Eight of Cups reversed. We have the Page of Coins. We have strength. We also got strength in pile 2, so pile 2 might be significant for you. If you were called to look at that pile, you might want to, but no worries if not. We have the 6 of Wands. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the 4 of Wands. And we have the King of Cups. Let me just check that all the cards are in frame. Pile 3, please bear with me. Okay, pile 3. So you do have a little bit of overlap. When I was looking at the cards, obviously we got strength coming through, and I know that I mentioned that that was associated with pile 2 as well, and it does seem like there could be a little bit of overlap with pile 2, so if you were called to watch that, there might be some messages in there for you, but there are some different energies coming through, so you don't have to listen to that. However, either way, similarly to pile 2, I do definitely get the sense that you have been through it in the not so distant past emotionally. And I think a big part of this glow up for you, pile 3, will be you learning to embrace your emotional side again and reconnecting to your emotions and realizing that emotions aren't necessarily something to be fearful of. Again, as we said in the oracle portion of your reading, it is more than okay to be vulnerable. It is more than okay to open up to other people. I think a part of this glow up is you feeling safe to do that again. And this doesn't have to be a romantic interest. It doesn't have to be you going out into the dating world again if that is not something that you are interested in. However, with this Ace of Cups coming through, that is a big possibility, and we will talk about that. But first of all, I want to talk a little bit about, the things that you might have been through recently. And obviously, again, please remember this is going to be different for every single person and every single situation. For some people, this could refer to an ex-romantic partner or a situation that you were stuck in that was maybe romantic in nature. It doesn't have to be. It could be like a friendship or a family member or a job. So please take it however it applies to your situation. But I'm just going to give the example of, let's say you were stuck in this more toxic relationship with this other person. It was a romantic relationship, let's say. And I think maybe this situation left you feeling as though you couldn't trust yourself. I think it maybe left you feeling quite trapped, quite paralyzed, as if there was no right decision. It could be that you had invested, or you felt as though you had invested a great deal of time into this person, into this situation, and it could have felt like it was very difficult to walk away from that situation with this 8 of Cups coming through. It could have been that for a long time there was this fear of change and you were feeling in this kind of stagnant energy because it just felt as though it was impossible to be able to create the changes that you needed in order to kind of live your best life and in order to be able to access this glow up and level up in any way. It just felt as though you were trapped, you were stuck, you couldn't remove yourself from this situation. There was kind of no right answer, there was no clear direction, no clear route of where you could go from here. And let's say that this is another person. It could just be that this was a case of you having what do you call it? Is it like the sunk cost fallacy or something like that? I don't know if that's the right phrase. I don't know if I can think of the phrase that I want to say, but I think this is just a case of you feeling as though well, I have invested so much time into this. So even though it hasn't been going right for a long time, even though it's leading to disappointment, even though it's making me feel unhappy and trapped and stuck, it's I don't feel as though I can walk away because I have just put too much into this. I might as well stick with it, even though it is not creating happiness in my life. Again, I don't know if I use the right phrase, but I hope you know what I mean when I'm kind of describing that. And again, take it however it applies to your situation. It could be a romantic relationship. Maybe, you were worried about the financial and emotional repercussions, like if you would put a lot of money into a home with somebody or something like that, and you just felt as though too much had been put into this situation, this relationship, for you to just up and leave, even though it was causing a great deal of disappointment. It could also be like you studying something, like you investing a lot of money and a lot of time into a university course or acquiring a skill or something like that. And then, you know, partway through deciding, you know, this career path isn't really giving me any happiness. I'm not getting anything from this. I'm not experiencing joy going down this route, but feeling as though like you were too far gone. I'm getting the phrase like too far gone in order to be able to go back and create change and go in a different direction. And this just left you feeling quite paralyzed for a long time. It left you feeling stuck in this stagnant situation and just not feeling as though, you know, you had the courage to be able to leave that situation. This might have come through in one of the other readings I did, but I'm also getting the phrase like walking on eggshells. So, regardless of whether this is, you know, a job role that you were in or a relationship, you know, somebody who you were around, it just felt as though you were stepping on eggshells. And I think you were trying to do everything you could to sort of not rock the boat and to keep you and this other person or this other situation on this even keel. Because again, you were thinking, well, I've invested so much into this situation, like there's no possible escape out, so I'm just trying to make the best of it. But ultimately, I think this person or this other situation that you were in, it came a point where they were just impossible to be around. It was impossible to stay in this circumstance that you were in. I think there were constant tantrums and moodiness, a lot not being said with this Knight of Cups in reverse. You know, if this was another person, it could have felt like you were doing everything you could to be able to make it work, but this other person wasn't really meeting you halfway. And I think as well, like it could have been, I don't know why, but I'm getting the image of like you just to a degree not wanting to listen to advice from your friends and family at a certain point. And with me saying that, I'm not at all judging you in any way. I think we have all been there when we've been in a relationship, or, you know, even if this isn't a relationship, if it's a job or something. I think we have all been in the situation where we are so one track minded. This is what we wanted at a certain point in our lives. And even though it's not going the way that we planned in our heads, we are still sort of stuck on that path because at one point we felt as though it was the only path for us. So it's like we're very focused on, you know, this relationship or whatever it is continuing and getting to the place that we had originally imagined in our minds, even though it's kind of disintegrating around us, even though we are not experiencing the happiness that we thought we would or that we did at the start of the relationship. But it's like you're trying to ignore that, you're trying to push it to the back of your mind in order to just carry on going forward in this situation, regardless of whether everything to do with it is kind of crumbling around you. So it could be that, you know, you might have known that this situation wasn't for you or it wasn't going well for a long time. And I think to a degree you might have been ignoring your deeper feelings regarding this issue. And maybe you were just pushing through, thinking that things will get better if you just don't, you know, upset this other person or if you just don't rock the boat in this situation. But I think it came a point where you kind of had to face reality and you had to make some tough decisions, and that might have meant leaving this situation and moving on to something that would be better for you. And ultimately, like, don't worry, I am going to get to the positives, but I just want to give you confirmation that this is your pile if this is something you have experienced. Because I think this, whatever you have been through, has been a crucial part of you growing and developing and ultimately of you glowing up. But for some reason, I'm getting the example of like you doing everything to try and appease this other person because you want or you once wanted this life with them and you thought it was going to lead to happiness. You were going to move in together, you were going to get married or have a family or something like that if this is another person. And maybe, you know, it was all going wrong despite your best efforts. And maybe you had people in your life who were like, oh, well, you know, this other person isn't good for you. I'm getting something about this person. I'm not sure whether this is going to be a very specific example only for a few of you, but I'm getting this image of, you know, you are putting everything into this person and then you found out something about them, like a truth was revealed, like with this Two of Swords. I'm getting like a truth was revealed. So it could have been like they were messaging somebody else. Like if this was somebody who you were in a relationship with, maybe you found like inappropriate messages or something like that. It wasn't something like, I don't think it was something anyway like physical cheating, but it was something that made you feel as though, you know, this person isn't in alignment with my morals. That's not something I would normally put up with. But I think maybe because you had been with them for so long, or you felt as though you had invested so much, maybe you pushed aside your better judgment and you shut aside your intuition because you thought, oh, well, they made a mistake, they did this, but I can get past it, we can get past it. It was just this one mistake. Maybe I should give them a second chance because now it would kind of be too late to end things. Like, I've already invested so much time into this person. So maybe you tried to shut it to the back of your mind. But I think deep down, it kind of got you down and it left you feeling, paralyzed and helpless because you were like, I'm not the type of person who would put up with this behavior from anyone else. And ultimately, like, you just weren't happy. You just weren't happy with this situation because it's not you to put up with that kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be that specific example. It could be like the way you were treated in a work situation or something like that. It wasn't something that you would usually put up with. And every time you push those feelings down and you stayed with this person or in this situation, it feels as though like you lost a part of yourself each time because you knew that on a deep level, how you were behaving, how you just said like, oh, well, I guess I'll just stick with it because I've invested so much into this. You knew that that wasn't in alignment with who you truly are. You know that you are stronger than that. You are more powerful than that. You don't have to put up with being treated that way. It doesn't matter how long you've been in a situation. You don't deserve that. And I think there was this deeper sense of knowing, like, you knew that deep down, but it's like for a lot of time you were in denial. So even if other people, like friends and family members, were giving you advice and telling you things, it's kind of like you were blinded to it, like you didn't want to see it. You had the blinders up for a period of time. And I don't think you do now. I think you were very much moved away from this situation and actually out of this energy. But I think, it kind of made you lose touch with yourself. I think you were kind of shut off from your emotions, your deeper sense of knowing for quite a while. And I think it's not that you were like, you didn't know deep down. I think you did, but I think you were very much shutting it down and ignoring the problems. It's like you didn't want to see what was in front of you. You just ignored these problems, hoping that if you put enough effort into this situation, the situation would rectify and you would overcome it. But when that didn't happen, I think maybe there came a breaking point where you realize that you have to cut your losses. I think you realized you have to cut your losses and you had to move away from this situation. You had to get out of it. You had to go down a different path. So for some of you, this could be, breaking up with somebody, ending a relationship. For some of you, this could be leaving a job or, ending a friendship or cutting off a family member. It's obviously going to be different for different people. But I think there came a point where you were just like, I cannot do this anymore. I have reached the end of my tether and I need to ultimately make a decision that's best for me and more in alignment with who I truly am, because the way I am showing up at the moment in all of this energy, that isn't me, and I cannot stay stuck in this monotonous, stagnant situation that isn't serving me. So I think a big part of this change for you and a big part of this glow up has been you focusing on you and what you truly want and putting a lot of energy into yourself. And, with the strength coming up as it did in Pal 2, I think this is you sort of embracing this self-confidence and learning to empower yourself and realizing that, whatever situation you were in the past with this other person or just whatever was going on, I think you kind of lost your sense of self. You didn't like the person you had become when you were in that situation. And I think this strength is really showing that a big part of you growing up is learning about who you truly are again and getting back in touch with that brave, courageous, powerful person that you are on the inside. And it could be that a part of this glow up is you utilizing the physical material world in order to do this. So building up your strength due to having discipline in a physical exercise routine, a fitness routine, or something like that. But I also think there is going to be a lot more inner work taking place because I think, throughout whatever situation this is that you've been through, when you sort of lost your identity, you lost that sense of self. I think a big thing for you was re-establishing your independence, rediscovering who you are and becoming very self-sufficient and stepping into your own power again. But I think to a degree, maybe during that process, you felt as though because your focus had to be on you, because you had been put down by whatever situation this was, because it could have been so emotionally draining, it's like there was only room to focus on you and you growing, you glowing up and developing. And I think maybe the next part of this glow up will be you relearning how to be vulnerable with other people again, but in a balanced way. If there was a point where your trust was betrayed by this other person or other situation and it felt as though you couldn't then open up to anyone again, I think a big part of you displaying your strength will be learning how to trust people again. And yes, you don't have to give your life story and tell all your traumas to every single person that you meet if you do not trust them yet and you're not at that stage. I'm not saying that, but I think this will be you, not being as defensive, because I think there is a little bit of an element of defensiveness and it's understandable given what you have been through, pal 3. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that. But ultimately, I don't want you to be at the stage where you are blocking your own blessings due to this inability to be emotionally vulnerable with somebody else. I think people view you from an outside lens of being somebody who is very confident and quite intimidating, I think, because not only are you probably very physically attractive, but also there is now this sense of inner strength and confidence shining through. But I also think that people get the sense that they can't kind of break down your barriers. And this could be something that you've learned as a coping mechanism, due to what you have been through. And again, that is understandable. But I think, you don't want to block the good things that you could potentially welcome into your life by having your wall up too much, by having your guard up. It's important to have boundaries, especially if that is something that you struggled with in the past. But, not everybody is coming to you from a place of bad intentions like maybe this other person did in the past, but not everyone will be approaching you in this energy. So I think, like we got in the oracle reading, it's important to give people a chance. And obviously, if somebody hurts you and they are not adhering to your boundaries and they keep repeatedly hurting you, that's one thing. That's more than okay to abandon the relationship with that person, to shut them out of your life. But not everyone is coming in with the intention to hurt you, and I think it's important to understand that. With this page of coins coming through, it's making me feel, pal 3, like maybe you could be doing more inner work and exploring more literature on, how to access this emotional vulnerability if it feels like that is something that you have been shut off from for a period of time. It could be that you are engaging with more, I guess, like self-help books, or just books from authors that you find empowering, and that is something you are really focusing on. It's like you've done the work to be in this more independent energy and to take back your own power, but I think you are also relearning how to almost in a way reparent yourself. I'm getting the phrase reparent yourself. So maybe, being more gentle with yourself in terms of your emotions and things like that, being more gentle with yourself and teaching yourself that it's okay and healthy to have emotions and it's okay to want connection with other people. It's okay to desire that, and it doesn't make you needy or less independent. Because as well, our emotions can lead us to a lot of beautiful things, and it doesn't just have to be about getting into a relationship. This could be a case of like talking about your experience of a situation where you felt vulnerable, being open about it and sharing those experiences, not just with yourself, not just acknowledging them to yourself, but with other people. Maybe if you have a platform online where you feel like you're able to showcase your vulnerabilities in a way that feels comfortable to you, in a way that makes you feel empowered and still gives you this sense of independence, but is also more open, more vulnerable, giving a more intimate picture of the things you have experienced. That is something that could really bring a lot of people together. A lot of people could be able to relate to your experience, and ultimately that could lead to your success. With this 6 of Wands, if you did put something out there like that online, or if it's something you talked about within a job role, or it's just part of one of your hobbies to talk about a specific thing that makes you feel a bit more vulnerable. It could be that you are getting a lot of encouragement and a lot of praise from other people. People are really like, wow, pal 3 really articulated what it is like to go through XYZ. You know, this could be a creative project, it could be anything really. But it could be that people are really recognizing your talents, your ability to showcase those emotions, but in a way, I don't want to say in a detached way, but in a way where it's like, yes, I have been through this, I have processed those emotions, and now it's okay for me to talk about this situation or something like that. It could also be that you are going to a lot more events with the Four of Wands. You could be being invited out more with friends. You could be going to more celebrations. There could be more cause to celebrate. You could be starting to feel more outgoing. And I do always find this as well, like when we start getting into spring, when the sun is coming out more, I think it can make a lot of us feel a little bit more lively and a little bit more like we can go out more and a bit less introverted. So this could be that you are having fun more. You are just genuinely having a laugh with other people and going out and celebrating things. And you don't have to drink if you don't drink. But if you do drink, you might be doing some of that and just having some real fun with it. And I think you deserve it, pal 3, because you might have been through all of this up here. And if that has gone on for a while, I'm sure it was very hard. And honestly, you deserve to let loose a bit. You deserve to be in a bit of a chaotic energy from time to time and to just have fun with your friends, with your loved ones. And I think that is something that is very much happening for you. And with this Six of Wands as well, it feels as though, you know, maybe these people who you are meeting up with at these parties or at these celebrations, it doesn't have to be a party if you don't enjoy going to parties. It could just be meeting up at a club within your community or something like that. But it feels as though you might be glowing up in the sense that you are meeting with more like-minded people and feeling as though you can fully express yourself with these people. And I think with the Six of Wands, people are really commending you for this. And if this was a case of you leaving a bad situation, whether that be a relationship or a job or something, I think people are really taking a look at you and being like, wow, pal 3 has been so strong. That's amazing that they had the courage to go and do that. And now they are going after what they want. They have left this situation and they are becoming a better version of themselves. I think that is something that people are very much acknowledging with the Six of Wands. It could also be, pal 3, that there are some new feelings or potentially a new romantic interest on the horizon. And you know, if you are glowing up by learning to be a bit more emotionally vulnerable again, this could be you really connecting with somebody who feels more in alignment with who you now are, this confident version of you. It could be that at this gatherings, maybe you meet somebody with this Ace of Cups who you really connect with. It doesn't have to be romantic, but for some of you it will be. But it could be that, you know, you meet somebody. I'm getting as well, you know, if you were in this relationship and you became hyper independent in the wake of this relationship ending and you kind of shut yourself off to the possibility of love or the possibility of connecting with somebody, you could be meeting someone with this Ace of Cups who is really making you feel things again. And this could feel very exciting instead of you, you know, being scared about getting hurt and approaching it through a lens of like, oh no, here we go again. It is you actually being excited because you feel like this person is more in alignment with who you are now. With this King of Cups, I'm getting that you could be meeting somebody who is more mature than what you have dealt with in the past, is diplomatic, is devoted, or this could just be your energy that you are becoming more devoted to yourself and your self-growth, but in a way that is also emotionally healthy. So it's not just you being hyper independent and shutting any emotions or talk of feelings down. It's you learning to acknowledge your emotions and understand that every emotion serves a purpose. And whilst we don't need to like wallow in sadness for months on end due to every bad thing that happens to us, this could also be you acknowledging that, you know, sometimes it's okay to have emotions, it's okay to cry, it's okay to have feelings for people, and it's okay to want connection with other people. So I think that will be a big part of your glow up. Like I said, this could be you, your energy, the energy that you are stepping into, or it could be the kinds of people that you are meeting going forward, because you know, if you are in that energy, you are also attracting other people that are in a similar energy to you. And that is something that is very exciting, Pal 3. So that is what I am getting for you, Pal 3. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did enjoy the reading, please like the video, please comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe. All of that would mean the absolute world to me. But I appreciate you being here and I really appreciate you listening. Take care and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, Pal 3. Hi, Pal 4 Collective. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Pile of Books sticker and you chose Pal 4, this will be your reading. This reading is titled Hi Bestie, all about your next glow up. How are you leveling up and under what circumstances? So as I've said, for all my pals, I'm very, very excited to do this reading. I love positive readings. I love these hypey kind of readings. Anything to make you feel your best self and more confident, I am all for. So I am very happy to be doing this. I do just want to say thank you so, so much for listening. Thank you to every single person who has liked my video, commented, and subscribed. It all means the absolute world to me, and I notice every single one of you. I do really appreciate it so, so much. I just can't thank you enough. And if you haven't liked my video yet, if you haven't commented and you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. All of that would mean such a lot to me and I would really appreciate it. It really just helps my channel continue to grow and helps me continue to do the things I love doing. If you would like to know more about what this reading entails, then please check out the introduction. But if you just want me to get started with this reading, we are about to do that. Okay, Pal 3, let's have a look at the cards we pulled for you. So we have card number 41, Positive Affirmations, and we have card number 11, Sun, Paint the Sun back into your sky. Okay, powerful. These are truly such beautiful cards, and I feel like I've said that for every reading, but honestly, these two cards coming through, the glow up you're going through is going to be so amazing for you in terms of your self-development, in terms of having this newfound sense of positivity and of confidence. In particular, with this positive affirmations card, Pal 4, I definitely feel as though in the past you are the kind of person that has dealt with potentially some mental health struggles, potentially something like anxiety or depression, or just going through ebbs and flows of emotional highs and lows. So potentially if you are somebody who has dealt with like personality disorder or bipolar disorder or anything like that, or just something that can make your emotions quite hard to handle. If it's not that, if it's not like you have got an actual diagnosis of any of those things, I just think you are somebody in the past who you have been very self-critical and you have dealt with a lot of negative self-talk. And I don't even think it's been a conscious thing. I think this could be like a physical manifestation of your environment. So either an environment that you were brought up in or just certain people that you surrounded yourself with. It felt as though you were absorbing some of this energy of constantly sort of wallowing in either pity or just telling yourself things about yourself that weren't actually the truth of the situation. And maybe you were surrounding yourself with people who made you feel as though those things were true. Like if people were constantly sending you messages that told you you weren't worthy, like all the things it says on these cards, like brave, beautiful, healthy, happy, worthy, grateful. You could have been surrounding yourself with people who were making you feel unworthy through their behavior, through their actions, through the way that you allowed these people to treat you and through the way that they continued to treat you, these are all things that potentially made you feel unworthy. And whilst, you might not have been sat there in front of a mirror saying to yourself, like, oh, I'm unworthy, through the actions of these people, through who you surrounded yourself with, through you placing yourself in these certain situations, these are all things that contributed to an overarching sense of unworthiness within you. And I really feel like this glow up that's coming up for you, first of all, you are not letting anyone treat you in that way that makes you feel unworthy. And second of all, you are actually saying positive things to yourself. You are practicing positive affirmations. You are practicing more positive self-talk. However, you are realizing that accountability and positive affirmations go hand in hand. So this is not you just not taking accountability for your actions and like no matter what you do, you're saying, wow, I am just the best. I don't do anything wrong. I am perfect. That is not what positive affirmations are about. Positive affirmations are about you realizing that truly loving yourself is a practice that we get to show up and do every single day. And truly loving yourself means taking responsibility for your actions. If you have behaved in a way that is not in alignment with the person you want to be on any given day, it is not you saying, oh, well, I guess I'm just a failure. I guess I just screwed up. I guess I am just unworthy. I guess I just don't deserve this better lifestyle. But equally, it is not you escaping accountability by just saying like, well, it doesn't matter how I act or what I do. Whatever I do is perfect. It is you saying to yourself, I am a flawed human being just like everyone else, but I am still deserving of being able to nourish my body, for example. I am still deserving of happiness, even if I make mistakes. All I can do is show up the next day and try to correct those mistakes through my actions going forward. I don't have to put myself down about the things that I've done wrong in the past. All I can do is try and show up authentically each and every day and try to be a better version of myself. And if sometimes I mess up, I am still worthy. I am still grateful to be here and I am still grateful to learn and be on this journey. It is about taking accountability, but also giving yourself a little bit of grace, I think is the right word, giving yourself grace to make mistakes because none of us are perfect. We are always going to make mistakes. All we can do every day is show up in an energy of trying to approach ourselves and others with love, trying not to intentionally hurt anybody, trying to act in a way that does not hurt anybody. And yes, we don't always get it right. Sometimes we are going to make mistakes. That happens. That is life. We are human. But all we can do is continue to give ourselves grace because ultimately saying to ourselves, oh, well, I guess I'm just not worthy of good things ever happening to me, or, I messed up or something like that, so I'm just going to mess up all the time. I'm never going to be the person who I want to be. Saying that to ourselves isn't helpful, and it also isn't the truth or the reality of the situation. You are capable of change at any time, and just because you messed up once before in one small way, it doesn't mean that you're going to continually mess up in significant ways. And I think this is something you really need to learn, pal, for, because I think in the past, without even you thinking, I think sometimes these negative thoughts have just crept into your head, maybe due to the mental struggles that you have potentially been through, but also you could just be a very self-critical person due to the people that you grew up a lot around, putting a lot of pressure on you, or just making negative self-talk a very prominent or common thing that goes on in your head. You could kind of do this negative self-talk without really thinking. It could just kind of happen naturally. So I feel like with this positive affirmations card, this is you really stepping into an energy of proactively thinking of the positive and not seeing things that go wrong as you being like unlucky or you being not worthy of good things happening to you, but of you seeing it as an opportunity to change things and an opportunity to grow, you seeing it through a more positive lens. And I don't know whether this specific example applies, it certainly doesn't have to, but I always feel this way with like the example of people going on a physical health journey or trying to adhere to a healthier lifestyle or something like that. It can be easy when we are feeling motivated, when we are feeling good, to adhere to a healthier lifestyle. Sometimes we can get an inflated sense of self-confidence when it is going well for us, because we fall into the trap of thinking, well, this is easy, I could do this forever because I'm feeling good this one day. And sometimes that isn't the case. We are also going to have bad days. That is very normal. However, I think this positive affirmations card is a case of you realizing that the bad days don't negate all the good things that you have done and all the positive changes you've made for yourself. And if one day you go off track in terms of this healthy lifestyle, I think sometimes, powerful, you are a person who can fall into the trap of thinking like, well, I've gone off track now, so I guess it's all just going to go to shit. I'm never going to be able to adhere to this healthy lifestyle. I'm never going to be able to achieve my health goals or my fitness goals or something like that. And it can be this very all or nothing mentality. You could have approached things in the past through this all or nothing lens. And I think this is you really stepping into this energy of being more balanced in your perspective and saying to yourself, you know what? Yes, I did go off track this day. I am processing my emotions. I am understanding why I went off track. I did have a bad day, and that might have contributed to some of my choices not being the best or not being what they could be. But what I'll do in the future is I will prepare for these bad days more efficiently, so that hopefully next time I can deal with this situation in a more productive way or something like that. And yes, it might not be an overnight thing. It could be that you mess up again a few weeks later and a few weeks after that. It could be that it is this continuous learning, but I think this is you realizing that you don't always have to be 100% perfect 100% of the time. You can allow yourself the grace to make mistakes and to learn and grow just like every other person on this planet. And I think, powerful, I think you give other people a lot of grace. I think you are quite understanding of other people. And if your friend came and said to you, oh, I was on this health journey, but I got takeaway for every meal of the day today and I just feel like I've gone off track, I think you would be very understanding and you might actually give them some of this same advice, because I think you do have a lot of empathy and you do have a lot of awareness when it comes to other people. But I think sometimes you have imposed different rules upon yourself. You have held yourself to a higher standard. You have been more critical of yourself than you would be of other people. And I think this has led to some of these extreme all or nothing behaviors. And I think part of your glow up is realizing that you don't have to be so all or nothing. It doesn't have to be one thing or another. Again, you are a multifaceted human being and you're not always going to be 100% perfect, and that is okay. You are still very worthy, you are still beautiful, and you are still allowed to be grateful of the fact that you are here and you are able to make these mistakes, but you are also still able to create change and come back from these mistakes with a more mature mindset about how to approach things differently in the future. I think also, powerful, with this sun card, paint the sun back into your sky. I think maybe you have been through a period of maybe boredom or indifference towards some of your hobbies, or maybe you having a little bit of an identity crisis in terms of you not really knowing like who you want to be or what you want to pursue or something like that. And I think with the paint the sun back into your sky card, part of this glow up will be you rediscovering the things that you really want to do, the things that spark your soul on fire, the things that you really enjoy, the things that you truly love. I think maybe you are starting to see the brightness in life again. It could be that you've been through a sort of winter period. I mean, obviously it has just kind of been winter and we are just approaching spring. So this could play a part. I think I've said that in other readings as well. But sometimes we start to feel a little bit better when we get longer days. We feel like we can be more productive. We feel as though we can put more into our hobbies, our creative interests, things we really want to do, things that make us feel good on a soul level. And I think this is very much something you are embracing once again. You could be getting into hobbies again that you once abandoned or you once lost interest in. You could be starting to see the joy in those hobbies again. With us getting the pile of books sticker, with you choosing that pile, it could be that you are getting into reading again or you are getting into writing again, something to do with the written word. You are just finding something that sparks joy again in terms of your hobbies, something that lights you up. It could be that you are also discovering new things and new hobbies, things that make you feel amazing, things that make you feel like the best version of you. It could have been that at one point in the not so distant past. Maybe you lost your sense of identity. Maybe you know you were on this one path and it got shifted to something else. For some of you, I don't know why I'm getting this message, but it could be that you have recently received a diagnosis of some kind that feels, on one hand, I'm getting like a relief, because maybe you were somebody who you suspected that there was something that you needed help with for a long time and maybe you weren't getting it. But maybe once you have got this diagnosis officially, you have been simultaneously relieved but also feeling this sense of grief, like you are always going to have this diagnosis. It could be this little bit of grief for the person you once were, and there could have been this period of feeling a little bit like, who am I now? And because I've got this diagnosis, I might not be able to do XYZ in the way that I used to be able to. And you could have gone through a period of like isolation, or of feeling like you won't be able to do the things that you used to do, or you can't enjoy some of the things that you used to enjoy because of this diagnosis, or because of not getting help with this diagnosis, or something like that. It could feel like you are always kind of imprisoned by this label or this diagnosis. Again, doesn't have to be, that might only refer to like a small minority of people, but just something like that, like a label that's been given to you that you felt a little bit imprisoned by. But I think you are starting to see the empowering side of having access to that label. Like, now that you have got this diagnosis of some kind, you are feeling like you can understand yourself better. And like I say, it doesn't have to be an actual medical diagnosis, but it feels like you have reached a deeper level of understanding, or you are starting to understand yourself on a more significant level, and you are starting to re-engage with things you once enjoyed. Maybe there was a certain point where you felt like, oh, I can't do this anymore, like, or I won't be able to do this because I'm not as physically abled as I used to be, or like you don't have the emotional strength to do things because of this disability or something like that. But it feels as though you are really seeing it from a new lens, and you are realizing that no, my diagnosis or my disability doesn't have to stop me living my life. It doesn't have to stop me being who I want to be. I can still paint the sun back into my sky, just in a different way. It's like you learning to adapt with the current version of you, and making that current version into a version of you who you would like to become in the future. And yeah, you are really glowing up in a really big way, Pal 4, which is very exciting. That is what I am getting with the oracle portion of your reading, Pal 4. We are now just going to move along to the tarot portion, so I'll see you there, Pal 4. Hi, Pal 4 Collective. Welcome to the tarot portion of your reading. Without hesitation, let's get started and have a look at the cards we pulled for you. Okay, Pal 4, we have Justice. We have the Four of Cups. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. We have the Three of Wands. We have the Lovers. We have the Five of Wands. We have the Three of Cups in reverse. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. We have the Five of Swords in reverse. And we have the Hierophant. Okay, Pal 4. So the first message that I'm getting, a big part of your glow up in your upcoming future is you escaping this Four of Cups energy, because Pal 4, I feel as though for a period of time you were in this mode of being quite apathetic towards your situation. I feel like you were feeling quite indifferent towards the circumstances that had been presented to you. And I do think it's understandable, you know, if you were going through something and it involved your physical self or your emotional well-being, if this was like some kind of mental health struggle, or you are dealing with a disability that hadn't been diagnosed or something like that, and you were wondering like, what is wrong with me? Why do I feel like this every day? I can't seem to motivate myself to do the things that I want to do. This is you getting out of that energy by learning how to adapt to the change in your circumstance and how to turn it into a more positive thing, even if it hasn't felt that way, even if it has been a struggle, even though it has been hard. I'm getting with this Justice card, there is some justice being brought to this situation. So this could even be, you know, let's give the example, and again, this isn't going to apply to every single person, so please take it to resonate how it does for your situation. But if this is a case of you receiving a diagnosis that has been life-changing, and a part of you has felt like a little bit apathetic about that, and you've gone through a little bit of a grieving process because you thought like, well, I have this diagnosis, but where do I go from here? Like, things are going to get worse for me because of this diagnosis. Like, I'm worried about my physical health or my mental health or something like that. Or I'm not going to be able to do the things that I previously enjoyed because of this. I feel like part of your glow up is some justice being brought to this situation. So it could be the case that, if you have been placed in a situation due to this disability or due to your mental health struggles or something like that, where you have not been able to work as many hours as usual, you have not been able to do the career that you wanted to do or engage with your hobbies because you have just felt too exhausted, it has been too draining. This could be that the justice card is coming through to say that, part of your glow up is you feeling more supported in this way. So it could be that you are accessing some kind of legal help to help you with this disability, or it just feels as though there is going to be a more fair outcome arising from this situation with the justice card. It feels like the scales are going to be balanced again. So you are going to be starting to feel like actually there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And a part of your glow up is realizing that, even if you can't do every single thing that you used to do in the past in the exact same way, it's realizing that, you can access the things that you wanted for yourself, but it might take some adaptation. It might take doing things a little bit differently, but it feels as though there is going to be some support. I don't know whether this is going to be like financial or legal support, or just support in terms of the people who are now surrounding you, like maybe getting a healthier social circle with this Hierophant coming through, which we will go on to talk about. But it just feels as though you are stepping out of this kind of melancholy, daydreamy energy, because this cup, this is like an opportunity for you that you have not been taking. You have been focused on maybe the downsides of whatever situation this is, but somebody is presenting you with this very full cup. You are ready to drink out of this cup and access these new opportunities. That is very much something that's happening for you in terms of this glow up. So with these reversals coming through, well, actually not just reversals, but with this Three of Coins reversed coming through, and a few of these reversals, but also with the Five of Wands, it feels like you could have experienced some conflict in the not so distant past. And I'm not sure whether this is with, for some of you, it will be with another person. It could be that in the past you have surrounded yourself with somebody who caused quite a lot of clashes, who cause quite a lot of unnecessary arguments, and this could have put you in a negative energy. This could be that you had someone in your life who always made you feel bad or feel as though you were doing something wrong, and this is where, this negative self-talk could have come from. It could be that you had someone in your life who never offered praise, who never validated you and your feelings, who always just caused conflict, who created unnecessary competition potentially where there wasn't any, or something like that. At least not on your end, but this person felt as though, they had to create this conflict with you. And it could be that that just always left you feeling depleted and feeling as though that you weren't a good person. And maybe it left you feeling as though, even if deep down you know you're a good person, being around this person just depleted your energy and depleted your emotional resources to the point where it felt as though you had nothing left to give to yourself, is what I'm getting. And maybe you realize somewhere down the line that this person wasn't very good for you and your emotional well-being. So this could be you glowing up by taking charge and removing this person from your life, or creating distance between you and this person, no longer accepting the things that they tell you as a gospel truth. I mean, this could be a friend or a very draining family member, somebody who you once spent a lot of time with and surrounded yourself with. It could be that slowly over time, this person kind of eroded your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and you weren't able to show up in the best version of who you were, and you kind of absorbed all these negative things that they made you feel about yourself. So it could be that this was the kind of person who, like, whenever you had anything good to say about something that was going on in your life, you might have approached this person and they would always put a negative spin on it, and it just made you feel depleted, and then it made you doubt your choices and doubt yourself. It made you think, well, if this person thinks I won't be able to do it, Or if this person thinks this isn't a good idea, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe it left you in this stagnant energy of not being able to push things forward, of not being able to have this forward momentum. But I really feel like with this Three of Wands coming through, a big part of your glow up is you adopting this newfound sense of motivation and pushing yourself to do the things that you want to do. Maybe things that you have put off for a long time, or things that you have been too shy or not confident enough to kind of explore. This is you actually going and doing those things and being a leader and showing up as a confident go-getter and taking action in your own life, which is very exciting. Now, if this is not another person that you've been dealing with, it could be that these clashes in ego come from you and an old version of you. So it could be that due to whatever circumstance has happened that has left you feeling depleted, or feeling like you can't do the things you once wanted to do, or just feeling a bit negative towards your potential choices. It could be that you have battled some ego issues in the sense that you have been feeling very unmotivated with this Three of Coins in reverse. You have felt unable to take action. Maybe, let's give the example, and again, it does not have to be this example, so take it to mean whatever it means for your situation. But if this is you dealing with a diagnosis of some kind, it could be that you were unmotivated because maybe you thought to yourself at one point or another, I've got this diagnosis, I am going to struggle with this for the rest of my life, so what is the point? Or something like that. And now with this Three of Wands, your glow up is you stepping into this energy of seeing this from a completely different light and seeing that, you don't have to say, oh, I can never do XYZ again, or I can never do the things I wanted to do. This is you seeing the opportunity to do the things you wanted to do, but in a different way to what you originally thought. And you are seeing the joy in that again. You are seeing how that can be a very positive and life-changing thing. It does not have to be all bad, even if at one point it felt like this thing would be all bad. I think maybe there was a certain degree of internalized shame with whatever you went through, and this caused, these clashes with ego, because maybe you put a lot of pressure on yourself at one point to achieve a certain thing. So again, this is just one example, but maybe, if you go to college or university and you are the kind of person who wants to do a lot of extracurriculars and you want to get the best grades, and you said to yourself, I am determined to get a first and I'm just going to go for this. And maybe if you went through a period of feeling depleted, of feeling low energy due to this diagnosis or this health issue that you were having or something like that, maybe you kind of gave up on that dream in a way, or you said to yourself like, well, I've been diagnosed with this, so I'm not going to be able to achieve those things that I wanted to achieve. I'm not going to be able to do it. Those dreams of getting a first, like, I'm just going to have to put them on the back burner. I might even have to drop out of university. I might not be able to do this. I might not have the strength to go about my dreams in the way that I previously felt I could. However, with this new sense of Three of Wands, this new sense of momentum, I think this is you glowing up by really realizing, you're kind of saying to yourself, what was I thinking that I couldn't do it? Like, just because I've got this health issue or I've got this diagnosis, it doesn't mean that I am not still the strong, brave, go-getter person that I have always been internally. It doesn't mean that I have to brush all my achievements under the carpet. Like, I've got to the stage where I've got into university, I've been getting good grades, I've been doing this. I can still very much achieve that first if I want to. I just might have to accept reasonable accommodations, like if this is a disability or something and potentially you need more time doing an exam or something like that, you just need more support, more resources in that way. It could be you actually accepting that help and saying like, I'm still very much an ambitious person. My disability or the thing I'm going through doesn't stop me from being that way. I'm still the person I've always been. And if I put my heart and soul into something and I believe I can do it, I know that I can do it. I'm going to go after it, and nothing's going to stop me. Not this disability, not this struggle, not anything. All this conflict, all these things that I was telling myself that I wasn't good enough, that I couldn't do it, that I couldn't achieve what I wanted to, these were all just lies that my ego was trying to feed me to protect me from stepping into the most powerful version of myself. But ultimately, those were all lies. I can still be that powerful version. I just might have to adapt, and I might have to do it in a different way to what I originally thought. That is very much the energy that I'm getting for you, pal, for. Maybe at one stage in your life, Pile 4, you did succumb to some of these negative beliefs about yourself with this Knight of Wands. Now, obviously, for some of you, this Knight of Wands could refer to another person. It could refer to dealing with a person in your life who was arrogant, who lacked accountability, who didn't have self-control. However, for some of you, this could also be like a previous version of you, and maybe due to the struggles that you have gone through, maybe there was a period of time where you did succumb to feeling a little bit sorry for yourself, to having a little bit of a pity party at one point or another. And you know, we all need to go through that and process our emotions and have that from time to time. However, I think part of this glow up for you is you really being ready to step out of that energy. You are no longer just sat there feeling sorry for yourself. You are actively taking control of your own life and making your own decisions. Because maybe at one point, like let's say, you know, this is something that you've been diagnosed with and something that's caused you a lot of struggle. Maybe you have kind of felt in a bit of a victim mentality of feeling like, oh, well, because I can't do XYZ, I kind of just give up. Like if you were feeling a depletion in terms of your energy and you engage with some behaviors or habits that you knew weren't good for you, but maybe you were thinking like, well, you know, I might as well just do this because I have been given this news. It has really shocked me and it has changed my mindset about who I think I am and what I can achieve. So I might as well just slip into these patterns of behavior that do not really align with who I want to be. It could be that you lacked that self-control at one point or another. But with this justice coming through as well, you are really going to be taking accountability for yourself, for your own actions, for your behaviors. You are going to be changing your habits, I believe, in a way that is really in alignment with your best self and this glow up. And I feel like that is so powerful. That is going to be something that really changes your life, because obviously the habits that we do day in, day out, those are the things that really do change our lives for the better. With this Knight of Swords in reverse, again, this could be another person you have been dealing with, or it could be another version of you. Either way, it's like you have dealt in your life with being bullied, dealing with somebody who was tactless, who was rude, who was unnecessarily critical or something like that. Or equally, it could be that at certain points in your life, you have, without really realizing it, bullied yourself. You have, you know, given yourself this negative self-talk. And now a way you are glowing up is practicing self-love. Like we literally have the lovers. And of course, this could be, you know, you potentially meeting somebody during this glow up that you really connect with. It could be a romantic interest, or it could just be a group of friends with this Hierophant showing up. It's making me feel as though you are socializing more with communities that are positive, that want to hype you up, that want to make you feel good and confident. But with this Lovers, I really get the sense that you are coming into balance with your own self, and you are realizing again that you are this multifaceted person, and you can't hate yourself to the point of always being self-critical and it working to your detriment. But equally, you know, you're not saying I'm perfect, I behave perfectly all the time and I don't need to do any self-improvement. This is you embracing all the sides of yourself and coming to terms with the fact that, you know, some days you're going to have good days and some other days you're going to have bad days, but none of those days make you any less worthy of giving yourself grace and allowing yourself to make mistakes, but also to hold yourself accountable with the Justice card. Because holding yourself accountable is ultimately very powerful, and I think that is something you are realizing as part of this glow up, powerful. I think with this Five of Swords reverse, this could, you know, talk about how you are reconciling with yourself and who you truly are. You know, the hobbies that you once abandoned because you didn't think you had enough motivation or courage to either put yourself out there or just to engage with them anymore because you felt so depleted or you felt so down or something like that. This is you reconciling with the fact that, you know, sometimes you are going to be low energy and that's okay, but you don't have to be so all or nothing. You can still do your hobbies. Some days it might come more naturally to you than other days. Same for a work situation. Some days it might feel as though, you know, you can just smash your job, you can just show up to work and everything feels easy. And on other days you might struggle more due to whatever it is that you have gone through, like your health situation or your mental health struggles. And this is you reconciling with the fact that, again, you are going to have good days and bad days, but none of those days make you a good or bad person. You are still very much deserving of self-care and of self-love, regardless of whatever day you're having. Don't get down on yourself because one day you show up and you're not in the energy that you want to be. That won't be you all the time, and you don't have to think of it as like, oh, just because I'm this one way on this one day means that I will be this way forever. I will be unmotivated forever. I won't be able to do what I want to do. I think this is something you are realizing and something you have actively been working on. But this Three of Wands is really making me feel as though you are acknowledging all those parts of yourself and you are embracing them all. You are realizing that, you know, we can't just be in one constant energy all the time. We are ever changing, we are ever evolving, and we have to embrace the good and the bad. And as long as you are being mindful with your actions, that's all that people can ask of you. And that's all you can ask of yourself. And you don't have to hold yourself to this impossibly high standard. You are ultimately a human. You can't do everything all the time, and that is okay. I think sometimes in the past it's like you've pushed yourself to try and do so much that in the end, because it's just been too overwhelming, you have just shut down and not done anything, and it has got you in this kind of stagnant energy of not really taking action, of not knowing how to go after the things you want. And I think this glow up, a part of it is realizing moderation, I think, as well. I know I keep saying the word balance, but I think moderation is everything. And yeah, you realizing that you don't have to go after everything all at once, and it doesn't have to be perfect every single day. Like, you don't have to do an hour's workout every single day, let's say. Sometimes you can do a 10-minute walk, but it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be like I either do a 3-hour workout or I eat 3 takeaways a day. It can be that sense of balance, that sense of moderation. And, you know, a part of your glow up is realizing that not only will some days be different, but you are deserving of loving yourself and of embracing who you are on every single day, regardless of the energy that you are showing up in, especially when sometimes that energy is out of our control due to a mental health issue or a disability. I think you are realizing that you are very much in charge of being able to control the things that you can. And I think you are learning how to hold yourself accountable for that. But ultimately, if things are out of our control, if you know we just don't have enough physical energy to do something on a certain day, you are not pushing yourself into the point of burnout to be able to achieve that thing. You are respecting that your body and your mind has needs, and you need to embrace whatever those needs are. Yes, don't slip into patterns of just not doing anything on the days that you can do something. I think this is you realizing that you will do something, but on the days that you can't, it's not talking to yourself like a bully, because I think in the past you have kind of bullied yourself. It could have been that you have bullied yourself because of the people who have surrounded you, the people who have had a kind of bullying attitude towards you. But regardless, I think in the past you definitely have talked down on yourself, and I think this is something that you are learning not to do. I think it's something that maybe in the past felt so natural, it just came to you to like, maybe you have like quite a self-deprecating humor or something like that, so it just feels natural to sort of put yourself down and to fall into those habits. And I think this is you learning to, yes, we can have a balance of self-deprecating humor sometimes, and we can have humility, but also it's okay to give ourselves positive affirmations and to say good things about ourselves. And I think the people who you are starting to surround yourself with the Hierophant card, I think they share similar beliefs, and I think they could be your hype men or women, these new people who you are communicating with. It doesn't have to be a physical meeting. I mean, it could be that you are joining groups and clubs and you are meeting these people, but equally it could be an online community or something like that. But I think these people who you are speaking with, their beliefs just align more with yours, and they allow you to access more self-knowledge. And they allow you to see things from a different perspective, and you allow yourself to see things from a different perspective due to the habits that you are practicing every day. That is what I am getting for you, pal 4. I really, really hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated. If it did resonate, please let me know. Please leave a comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe. All of that would mean the absolute world to me. I really appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for your ongoing support. I'll see you in the next one, pal 4. Take care.